least here in the group stage of ESL Major League. So it's going to be an exciting series. They're both tied up with that 71% win rate, sitting there with
Yeah,
even match scores, sitting in the second and third seed spots.
it's a good point. All right. All right, I think
We can let
I
the
think we're good to know. They're anxiously waiting. They're sitting there in the line. They're like, all right, I want to draft.
they want to draft.
Two Arcs like, I want to pick Tyrael. Let's go. Of course, I say that in jest, but they are probably the team that runs Tyrael more often than any other team, which is
True.
like it's a wacky pick. I'm sure that
It's
any
an
of the other
exciting
teams would have
pick.
told you that it's a wacky pick because they don't play him at all.
Now
Or
that
it's very
cast
rare.
aside, yeah. Now the
No,
cast
no
is
cast
gone.
aside, right. And they still make them work. They make them work in compositions that doesn't really seem to make sense. I specifically remember them playing a game of Hammer and thinking before the game, like, this isn't going to work. And they used judgment defensively, and somehow they won
It
the
was
game.
beautiful.
It worked, yeah. Like,
It was
they
beautiful.
They
I think
made
that
it
was
work.
Sky
So,
Temple. Yeah, I remember that game.
yeah, that was fun.
That
I
was
was
a
just
fun
like,
game.
this shouldn't be working, but it is. So they obviously are very in tune with the Tyrael,
Yes.
and
You know,
they know what they're doing there.
they
So,
play a lot of Diablo 3. They hang out with Tyrael.
Yep.
They get coffee together. They're
Yep.
in tune. The draft is about
it is about to begin. But I say that because it's a cool little, I don't know, leg up that 2Arc has during the draft, right? They can leave their warrior pick until the very end. They don't have to prioritize that if they're still playing the Tyrael. I didn't actually catch any of their games during the Titan Arena 2, so couldn't tell you if they played him at all there. But throughout the group stage, they have been known to grab it. So.
Well, they are thinking about those bans. In the last series, we saw a lot of ETC, a lot of Rhaegar bans. And it's entirely possible that we won't see a whole lot different here. Both of those, I mean, that's the
Nope.
top heals, that's the top tank. And this guy, Illidan, he's actually pretty okay, too.
Yeah, it's pretty okay. He was picked 100% last series.
I think he was.
Yes, no bans, but was picked out every
100%
game.
pick rate.
100% pick. So, Temple Storm has to consider what they should ban here, and it's going to really come down to there's a lot of good choices for bans for heroes that are really strong. Depends on how much they've been playing 2Arc over the past 2 weeks. Probably not that much, unless it's been in a competitive match, which I don't think they ran into each other in Titan Arena. So it's probably been a couple weeks. They might not know too much about what they've been running as of late. They may want to go for a safe ban, something like ETC,
Yeah.
something like Rhaegar.
It makes sense. Rhaegar might be less of a priority ban, considering that Illidan's no longer a viable thing in the game. Rhaegar is incredibly powerful no matter how you look at him. It's just the synergy with those two is something terrifying. But I like the idea of banning out ETC just because he's such a big pick. But wow.
Jaina, that's what we saw in the very last game of the previous series between Cloud9 Maelstrom and Complexity. And then immediate scoop, the pickup of Rhaegar for their first grab.
Shoop, shop, shoop. I mean, Rhaegar is really quick. He's got that wolf form.
Wait, was that like a really meta-style joke right there? You did a shoop, shop, shoop. That's Meta Knight. Was really broken in Brawl.
It was.
And, okay. All right, whether you intended it or not, it was a very meta joke. I enjoy it.
Of course, we have a bit of a background with Smash Brothers, but that's
I
old
guess.
news. That's
Neither
old
here
news.
nor there.
Now, Vala will be the first response, and no, they go for Zagar. I said ETC before they even picked him, and I was half looking, and I saw something brown. I was like, yeah, that's him. Nope, it's Zagara.
Saw something brown.
Hey, they're both.
That's-
They're like the only two brown icons in the entire screen.
All right. Well, what about Carrion?
She's like more of a tan cream.
This conversation will probably go south very quickly. We are going to just
We're
move
talking
along.
talking colors, my friend. Now, Rhaegar has been picked up. Other very safe picks. We talked about Tassadar being a very common pick. Seems very likely, but they
Yeah.
could try to scoop up that tank very early.
So, okay, you mentioned the Tassadar. So we know about the strong combination between Illidan and Rhaegar. Any other heroes that jump out is pretty good. ETC, I think, is something.
Okay, Thrall got love, and I guess the biggest thing to say is how much of teams practice with Thrall. He did see play by select teams when he was first put into the game. Then he received quite a few nerfs. So I wouldn't rule him out, but I think if we see Thrall, he's going to be very much like a last pick.
Right.
And
No
so
sense in revealing that. But
Exactly.
2Arc is known
to do weird
to
things.
do weird
Yeah.
and off the meta stuff and make it work.
Yes.
I would love it so much.
I would
if they
be
played Thrall.
excited as it gets to get that Thrall in here, especially considering they have the final pick, and if they see something that they really would like to disrupt, Sundering is phenomenal. I mean, it's arguably it's the biggest stun in the game. That's a fact.
Area-wise.
Area-wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Largest radius, longest cast reach, and very, very fast travel.
It's a good point. It's a good point to make. Odds of seeing Asmodan. We did see the slight nerf in
I don't
the
think
previous
we'll
patch. This is a good map for it, though.
It is. He's kind of fallen off in the meta. The supports just handle it.
Handle it.
Yep, pretty much. Can't wait for that to be a hero. Just handle it.
What is Charmer? What is the name of that card? Oh,
Argent.
no, it's like a card that no one ever plays. It's like a 2/2, 3-mana 2/2 that like buffs the whole team or everything on your side.
No one's gonna use that.
War Leader, War Raider, whatever. ETC is the next pick for Tempo Storm.
No passion.
I think no passion for us. Sorry guys, I spent all my time playing heroes. Sorry guys.
ETC, yes, has been scooped up, and Tyrande is still a viable pick to have that secondary support, but I think it's also a good time to lock in the support. There's a lot of good options. Uther's still on the table, and they're going to go for Zebo. So Zebo being picked up.
Okay, Jake. There was an interesting pick this past weekend. The Gargantuan Juan.
Oh, Juan. No, that was pre-patch. Juan,
you're right.
Juan now has more viability.
Well,
you have control over his slam, and he hits much harder, but his health pool is a bit smaller.
Diablo Thrall. Let's see it. Come on.
I would be. I think it has to be Uther. Oh wait, what am I kidding? I didn't notice.
Well, they could have denied the double support. So, okay. APOC? Question mark. They will probably. It depends on the state of the game, whether they're forced to pick the heroic or not. APOC is a solution for Ravenous Spirit. Ravenous Spirit did take a bit of a nerf. The area damage that it does, and I think damage tick-wise is a little bit nerfed. Not super impactful. I think it will still be good if the enemy team doesn't have. Okay, yeah, I've seen chat. It says Ray Leader. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for calling me out as a Hearthstone fraud. I get it. All right, Zeratul was the final grab for 2R.
Yeah, so, I mean, APOC did receive a buff. They reduced the cooldown by 20 seconds from 120 to 100 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And this is a big spot. They need to get that heals. Uther seems like a likely pick, but Malfurion has had a lot of power on this map. The
Tempo
roots
leans to Malf, too.
Yeah, I like Malf on this map. I've said it for a long time.
Yeah.
The roots just provide so much zoning and so much potential, and especially... Okay. Well, it's really just the Shadow Charge that has the stun, and of course grenades. This might bait out a quarterback from Tychus, but still... Interesting pickup.
Lili has been seeing, picking up some steam as of late. No massive changes, I think, at least that would affect this game. Can no longer heal copies... or Ultimate Evolutions, and there was one other. Oh no, it's just Ultimate Evolution. You can't Healing Brew, and you can't.
And Monstrosity.
Oh, is it Monstrosity?
Yeah, on Abathur. Doesn't work.
Either way, moot point. There's no Abathur in this game, so Lili more or less unchanged. Slight nerf to Healing Ward.
Yeah.
Other than that, no big change. And Tempo Storm has been running a good bit of Lili as of late to some good success.
I actually might be wrong about Monstrosity. I'm second guessing myself. Anyways,
yeah, confidence.
So Dragonshire is going to be the first map of this best of 5 series. Both teams, they're sitting at 0-0. I believe Haunted Mines was banned out as the one map we will not see.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I will double check that with our admin, Mr. C.S. Steve.
Yep.
And he does say Mines was in fact banned for the series, so we cannot see Mines. Every other map is viable. And again, guys, if you're just tuning in, Sylvanas, Tombless Spider Queen, 2 new. They are banned for the first week of just being put into play, so they will not be present in this event.
That's right. Actually, the choice was given to the teams. I think that they opted to not play it, which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
They want to try to practice with stuff that they're a little bit more comfortable with moving forward. So we'll see it in the future tournaments, for sure, for season number 2 of ESL NA Major League. But that's not here nor now. This is Dragonshire, and this is game number 1 between 2 Arc Iliad and Tempo Storm.
Get Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be a great game. I hope you have your popcorn.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, get your popcorn.
I know. I'm probably gonna eat popcorn while casting. We'll see how that goes.
I just got a feeling that's not gonna work out too well. All right, man. Lily. Diablo. Okay, so we're right about the Diablo play. So, like I was mentioning, it's gonna depend a little bit on what the state of the game is for Tuark. If they're behind, they'll be given the choice to see if he actually does go for Gargantuan or Ravenous Spirit. In which case, he may end up going for Apocalypse to try to counter that out. What is left on their team for, like you mentioned, Tychus is stun, and really that's about it, I guess.
There's the stun, and of course Shadow Charge for Diablo.
Yeah.
Got to worry about that. And Apocalypse is a massive threat. Temple Storm, they're wiggling, they're waggling, they're in the blue, and it's going to be KO on Zagara, Glaurung on ATC, Arthlon playing Nazebo, Dreadnought playing Lili, and Soldier rounding out on Vala.
That's right, and on the red side, for Tuark Iliad, we have Chubbs on Rhaegar, we have Furious D on Tassadar, Quibsy will be playing Tychus, Panucci on Diablo, and Trader playing Seratul. No stitches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. There's no stitches. They
know.
Even footing on this game.
They know.
I'll just taking a quick look at the talents. We have Cyan Fusion being picked up here for Tassadar. And it looks like Zeratul is opting for the Greater Cleave.
Yep.
Not necessarily the most common talent, but definitely a solid
block. We've seen
pickup.
block. We've seen Regen Master taken. So neither of those two in this case. Cyan Fusion, that's the returned mana per enemy hit in the wave, so you can kind of get free Psy Storms, which is nice for the wave push. And we actually see that Tassadar is top, but it might actually end up panning out because usually we'll see some heavy aggression, not necessarily need for wave clear.
Now, the nice flip Shadow Charge going in onto Dreadnought, but Lili, of course, gets the additional movement speed whenever she takes damage, turns around, and puts the aggression onto Trader, and that will just zone him out. You have to consider that the blind is going to be very impactful in this match. That's a big reason as to why we're starting to see more and more Lili, as blind can just change so much in terms of the initiation on enemy heroes.
That's right, and you'll just notice so much that she is just difficult to kill. It's more often like if there was a Stitches, I'd say she's probably one of the targets that's if your stuns are really on point, she might be that. And Glaurung actually taking a bit aggressive. I think he's trying to dodge that grenade, and it will be enough to get the kill on him. Yes, okay. Wow, that was close.
But the turns, Dreadnought is coming down.
Clean
Trader
up.
just barely living, sitting on a very, very, very small health pool. And the shrines have spawned. We see in the top lane Soldier and KO. They're going to be able to control that top shrine, but the bottom shrine going over to the side of Tuark Iliad for the time being.
That's right. Actually, Panucci getting aggressive with the hook. The Shadow Charge and flip, but do they have the aggression? The body block's not quite. Chubbs actually getting caught in the wall, taking a fair amount of damage. Arthlon backing up to take the well.
But
all right.
Look at this aggression in the top lane.
Yeah.
Vala and Zagara left to do their worst on this top lane, and they have already powered through a single tower before hitting that 2-minute marker. In the mid, though, the aggression is real. Panucci has been getting those flips, and even the power of the cow, Mr. ETC, has fallen once.
Power of the cow. USDA. Grade A meat right there.
Yep.
Okay. I want to point out the position of the aggression for both teams, mid and then top for Tempo Storm and Tuark respectively. It's a little bit different from what we're used to seeing. More often than not, teams will stack the bottom lane in a 3 or 1-1-3 so that they can try to keep control and make use of the impact that the mercenary camps have, because that's where both the giant camps are and that's where the contested bruiser camp is. So just a little bit different. You'll have to see how it pans out for both teams.
Yeah, what we see, the bottom temple being picked up by Arthlon, but he is in a terrible position. He's got 4 rotating on him, and he will surely fall. Dished out a lot of damage to Chubbs, though. Will Glaurung be able to pick up that kill? No, the peeling is real, and he's now in a tough situation himself. Getting flipped over, the heals have just, they are not anywhere near, and Glaurung looks like he's also going to end up falling. Temple Storm losing this temple and 2 heroes.
And they have control of the top shrine now. It looks as though mid is pretty well locked down between Vala, Lili, and Zagara, although she is rotating around to the bottom side. Quick thing to note is the spider cluster. That's 3 extra spiders for Nazebo. We did see a nerf to the level 16 specialized toxin, and some Nazebo players have been opting to take actually KO, getting a kill in the bottom lane. Nicely done.
Okay.
All right, so back to the spiders thing. There is, basically 50% effectiveness on specialized toxin while we watch this dragon from to Arc well
Yeah, it
away
went
at these
from
mid-boards.
200% to 100%.
To 100%, right.
For-
So now it's like, is that really the best option to take anymore? That's quite a bit of a nerf, and we've seen that some Nazebo players are actually going for the spider upgrade at level 4, and then jumping spiders, leaping spiders at level 16, which it can be difficult to escape from those. So you can get a lot of guaranteed damage output from that.
Damage adds up, and it's a nice new thing to see. It's fresh new play on that Nazebo. And the Dragonite was picked up very early, level 7 for both teams. They're just going to get a few towers with it before this Dragonite does ultimately end up dissipating and throwing in that grenade. Melting Point was picked up by Taika, so those grenades are going to dish out a lot of just damage to any minions or mercenaries or even structures.
No quarterback.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing to point out.
So many talent things to talk about right now.
Right.
Searing attacks for Vala. That's not something that we saw in the previous set of series. I think they were getting the reset on the
with the vault, the reset with the vault. Oh my goodness, Dreadnought though getting shadow charged out of position. He is forced to just try to back up the best he can. The heals are not going to be enough, and the grenade will pick up the kill. On the other side though, Glaurung trying to pick up a kill on Trader, but is this too far forward? He's pretty low by himself, and his heals just died. So unless they can turn this around, the bolt doesn't get Trader quite over the wall. Glaurung is actually going to end up losing his life.
Yeah, the grenade would have been surely enough to clean that kill up, and we're just seeing small errors in positioning for a lot of the members of Tempo Storm, and they're finding themselves down about a level, just a little bit less, but it's so important when you consider the timing of the game right now that 2Arc is going to hit level 10 to get those so important heroics, almost a level ahead.
Yeah, they're just kind of overstepping their bounds a little bit too much. Maybe they're playing a little bit too confident. I'm not sure what it is, but they do need to just play a little bit more safe, as the kills are 5-1 right now. And structurally, they lost that first Dragonite. They have lost more structures on their side of the map. But the game is far from over. But sure, this is that window where heroics are in favor of 2Arc.
And there it is. We do see the Apocalypse with that reduced 20-second cooldown, bringing it to 100. Did not take battle momentum, opting to go for the extra souls for the more tankiness. We also have Void Prison Odin, picked once again, Archon, and Ancestral Healing.
And that's...
Oh, you know what, Jake? What if you had gone Bloodlust? I just had a flashback.
I would have
like
lost
November,
it. I would have
right?
lost it. If Bloodlust was picked up, this game would actually...
Because I just said the words Odin, Archon, and then I was reading Rhaegar's, and I was like, oh, this is where he would take Bloodlust.
Not today. Not today, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yep.
Ancestral's still very powerful, heroic, and Dread's going to have to be careful. He's going to be greeted by pretty much half the team, and I like Trader's positioning here in the back line. They have no idea he's there. Sitting in the back, there is actually all... well, we have 4 members with just Tacit are sitting in the top lane, and it is 4v4.
Gargantuan!
Yeah, we are seeing it, and you know what? We actually talked with KO quite with Zoya quite a bit, and he was talking about how they have been toying with it. Now he mentioned KO specifically, but it looks like it's going to be Arthlon. Or excuse me.
That's right. Well, of course they practice together, and they do swap out between. We have seen KO on Nazebo sometimes, and of course Arthlon can also play. Obviously, many of the members can rotate between these positions on all of these teams, so no surprise there. And we do see the stage dive. They have caught Panucci and Chubbs a bit out of position. Is Glaurung going to end up paying? Are they going to get a kill? Soldier there also to follow up with the Vala play. Not going to be quite enough.
Now those spiders just denying Quibsy. He really tried to pick up that Dragonite. They did have control of both of those for a little while, but that stage dive just allowed them to force them off that bottom shrine, pick it up, recontrol, regroup, and get ready for battle. But in terms of heroics, it is 1 used on the side of Tempo Storm and 5 available for their opponent's 2Arc, and there goes the Odin.
That's right, and it is setting up for a lot of position. They are going to catch KO with some of these attacks. Our Tempo Storm just going to be backing up quite a bit. They might be satisfied with this just to force the position. The Gargantuan applying a good bit of pressure, but they're just going to back up with the satisfaction of knowing that they burned out Archon, Ancestral Healing, etc. So
VP will connect the Winds hit Trader there, and Glaurung dashes on for it. This is buying time for that VP to dissipate, and the Apocalypse was a little bit late. There go the Jugs, but Shadow Charge interrupts it immediately, and Quibsy gets pulled into the Maw. A lot of damage used from both teams. Heroics have pretty much all been expired at this point in time, and we do see Panucci taking a lot of damage. The dash forward, is it available?
No, it's not quite enough. They did win positioning-wise. Tempo Storm, of course, they actually just sort of caused so many of the heroics for 2Arc to just completely whiff and be not that useful. When you consider Odin previously in the fight, Dreadnought actually getting Shadow Charged and flipped is going to be able to get out of there with those fast feet. All right, so yeah, the VP went down. That wasn't quite what they needed to stall out. They were hoping to catch or pick up the Dragonite during that time, and then the APOC went down, but everyone was able to step off it. They had no setup for it, no stuns like they were expecting, maybe perhaps with the VP, etc. So considering how many resources were used, I'm honestly surprised that 2ARC was able to get out of that fight without even taking a loss.
Well, we can see the damage being done here in the middle, just pushing on forward. Stage dive going in. That Dragonite is very low, and I believe Ancestral is available, so Panucci gonna receive the Ancestral. They're pushing on forward. Glaurung is in a wonderful position, and those jugs will be interrupted so quickly by that Shadow Charge. Level 13 has been picked up. We do have the Relentless, but it's not going to be enough. Souls are available for our Diablo player, but Trader so low. The Spiders going forward, not enough.
Gargantuan getting work done in this fight. And even though the Jug of 1,000 Cups was interrupted quite quickly, they still were able to pick up the single kill onto Diablo. Taking a 1-0 victory. It was really just nice to shift that momentum back for Tempo Storm after having just defended that dragon and then shoving them away so effectively.
I mean, that was a fight where they defended a dragon and were down a talent advantage. So really just well done by Tempo Storm going even in that situation. And that will allow them to catch up, hit that level 13, and we're going to see those talents selected right now.
That's right, and we do have Sprint for Nazebo. It's something that we would expect to see. Probably both of the upgrades for the Mutalisk or Hunter Seeker. Uber Rockstar, it's that move speed bonus for ETC. We have the Frost Shot, that's the slow on the multi-shot. And actually, what is this? Is this the extra blinding? Blinding Wind, slowing movement speed. When you combine that with the Mass Vortex picked up at level 4, Lili's having a pretty large impact in the fight in terms of CC. Not direct CC, but slow.
It adds up. It makes a big difference, and it makes a lot of attacks just flat out miss, and they were able to sneak out those Knights. That's the kind of stuff Temper Storm has to do. They have to just do their best to control the map and just kind of get an advantage through that. We have 30 seconds until the Shrine spawn, pick up another pack of Bruisers, but the response is here from 2ARC as they are collecting the bottom Bruisers.
So, Jake, if you ask anyone, what is Tempo Storm's real strength as a team?
It's just making a flip decision and going with it very quickly and just capitalizing on the position of the enemy team.
That's right. It's it's got a lot to do with positioning and how well they rotate and everything. Like late game, we've seen so many times their first run through the European Go 4 bracket, they were all about. Well, not really all about. Of course, you don't want to be down in the early game, but they fell behind early game so many times that they out-rotated their teams, and we're seeing that those plays start to come forward with the offensive steal of these bruiser camps, and we'll have to see if they continue to ride this momentum forward. Not really momentum, they are still behind, of course, but it's what they're known for. It's how they're known to come back in these types of games.
I don't know if there's a team that's as good at forcing the position on someone else as Temple Storm is. And, well, we can see that they're just kind of they're doing just like magical shrines, we like to call it, just kind of rotating around each other, and they're just going to wait to find someone out of position to take advantage of that. Now, Glau is all by himself. He does have the stage dive if he finds himself in too bad of a position, but he's going to be just fine. Walks back, taps the well. They're putting in a lot of aggression onto him, but during all of this, Temple Storm is in the top. They're capping the top shrine, and now they're going to rotate down to the bottom where they might be able to collapse. Yeah,
they're sending a couple members now. They're actually going to also take out this top fort on this side. They're going to trade forts, bottom and top for both teams. Glaurung just doing the best he can to kind of defend. And, of course, you're right, he does have that stage dive. And that was actually forcing a full retreat from Temple Storm to defend this.
Yeah, and you know, right now, 2ARC is getting the better end of this. They take out that tower, and that nets them level 16. Glaurung going forward, just dishing out some damage. The flip is there, but now the rest of his team has arrived, and the heals are available. Stage dive might be used if they're feeling confident, but level 15 to 16 is a tall order.
That's a very big deal. That's extra survivability for so many of these heroes. Imposing presence on Diablo, the double singularity spike. A little bit nerfed, but still obviously quite potent. It's just so much more utility and potential for 2ARC that it just doesn't make sense to try to initiate a team fight when you are down in that.
Yeah, and we can see they're just kind of rotating around, collecting, pushing back these lanes. They are exposed in the bottom, so if 2ARC wants to get really aggressive, they can push in. Zeratul is going to scout out that these Giants are just now being started, and 2ARC could get aggressive. But I like the fact that Glaurung is up in the top where that temple is. He can stage dive once again whenever he's needed, and this might be the time when they do that because level 16 has been hit.
There it is. Oh, and Glaurung, actually the timing was just a little bit off. I think he was perhaps hoping to steal this camp. And the VP into void.
Oh my goodness, the Maw is eating that.
Oh my gosh,
for a long while. The Ancestral will connect with Panucci, but there goes our Zagara player. She's going to fall very quickly. They're backing on out. The roots, or the slow coming up from the Odin is huge, just slowing them down and allowing this Diablo to get in their face, flip Dreadnought back, but no, the fast feed is enough. They're turning around. They're actually making the situation look relatively okay. Glaurung is able to tap the well, and they might be able to turn this, but there are 4 Giants pushing on it.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I was completely shocked with how long Zagara managed to stay alive. Like, Lili was doing work and waited until he saw that Shadow Charge being used, which is what interrupted it in the previous fight. Threw down that Jug of 1,000 Cups, and it did work. It just really goes to show why Lili was, why Temple Storm likes to run Lili in these competitions. They know that they could probably get away with taking Lili as a last pick. We've seen them do this before, actually, with Malfurion back in the day when he wasn't being run all that often. Still, though, position is quite strong for 2Arc, and they are able to pick up both of the shrines and then grab the Dragon Knight. Second or third Dragon Knight of the game?
In favor of 2Arc.
Yeah.
They have been dominating it, and it looked like Arth wanted to throw those spiders down to chase Diablo. They actually targeted something else. If he does have leaping spiders picked up at level 16, if they chased Diablo, they would have stalled out the cap for a little while, and just kind of unfortunate in that situation. But we see the advantage has been narrowed quite a bit. It's pretty even, but with this Dragon Knight, they can just take out so many structures and push their level forward once again.
Sustained Anomaly actually doing work because so many of the members of Temple Storm are clumped up in that gate. You just see a ton of their health getting chunked away with that lightning, or not lightning breath, dragon breath from the Dragon Knight, of course.
Yes, well, it is marching in, but they are focusing it rather quickly. The damage coming out, and the Dragon Knight will fall so quickly. Kind of just a little bit too aggressive by Panucci. Every heroic is available for this fight, and Temple Storm wants to push them back.
The BP, no, actually going down at the same time as the Maw. I think that will probably be a win for Temple Storm. And there is the Apocalypse hitting a couple members, and that they're going to eliminate Glaurung and get the Ancestral Healing onto Trader. So many of the members are low. Dreadnought popping the Jug of 1,000 Cups to make sure that they can heal up the team, and they are forcing 2Arc in retreat, even though they were able to pick up a 1-for-0 kill.
Yeah, I mean, the Frost Shot is really starting to help out, showing that level 16 power spike. It's just giving them a lot more control over the battlefield now. They didn't manage to pick up a kill, but they were able to tap well, and they're in a relatively decent position. The heroics on cooldown 30 seconds before those big Ancestrals can happen again. Those spiders, they're really going in.
Doing
Furious D, using the Mental Shift to back out. Shadow Charge is used on a minion just to get Panucci out of that very dangerous position, but through that, they were able to take the bruisers and back on out.
That's right, and actually, if you look at the damage, I was curious, he's actually keeping up with Vala.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy. I love this new style that we're seeing on the Zebo players, and it's going to be a lot of fun to just actually see that evolve over time. But right now, it's all about that just map control, and we see that 2Arc has got that. They're roaming around, just picking up these merc camps, sticking together. They don't want to get picked off. That's how you fall apart in these points in the game.
Absolutely good point, but they do need to keep a close eye on the potential rotations that 2Arc might throw down. If they can keep ahead of 2Arc in terms of map positioning and what types of objectives they take, I think that's probably going to be their key to victory over this super dominant team that is 2Arc. I mean, Temple Storm.
Yes, that is a very good point to make. And, well, we see the map is very much red with those bottom bruisers being picked up. ETC doing what he can in the top to just soak that out. Again, he's the only one that has the global presence to just be able to do that. That's going to allow them to kind of keep up in terms of hitting that level 20. But right now, 2Arc, they are pushing on forward. Things are looking phenomenal for them.
That's right. And really, they don't have a super heavy initiation. With the exception of seeing a really nice Void Prison and trying to follow up with that. And it's actually kind of similar for both teams, with the exception of the stage dive. And there it is, actually Quibsy finding himself taking a lot of damage really quick and needing that Ancestral Healing.
But that is a massive Void Prison. There is the Maw in response. It's only picking up the Archon, and Vala has fallen already. The Gargantuan doing what it can, but it will end up falling very quickly. And that Odin, it is just dishing out the damage. The second keep of the game, or the first keep of the game, falling here in the bottom lane, and Glaurung in the backline. Gonna see if he can find an opportunity to capitalize, but no, 2Arc is just gonna opt to back on out.
Yeah, that is taking the safe play for sure. They could try to continue to put pressure on the core if they want to, not really get the kill, but maybe force a bad position out of Temple Storm, in which case they definitely would be able to take the core. So taking the safer play, backing up, just really trying to keep that map control that they have, because they know that they can keep taking safe dragons at this point. Glaurung will have to extend pretty far forward in mid lane to try and make that aggression happen.
And Trader is just blinking out and laying out some damage onto Arthalon. They're doing a good job stalling out the Shrine. Trader just on the receiving end, taking so much damage, able to back on out. Ancestral is available if needed, just came off cooldown.
Not going to be necessary in this case. Trader does have the well to tap. Quibsy throwing down a nice grenade and actually really pushing far forward. And we see the blink from Panucci dashing forward to put Glaurung out of position. And he is quite separated from the rest of his team, losing half his HP, and he's actually going to end up falling. And this is going to be a huge boon for 2Arc to move forward.
20 to 19, 4v5. They capitalized on that. They blew up ETC, and that's 50 seconds where he is going to be down. Yep. Stalling out this next Dragonite is going to be so hard to do. Both temples are being controlled, and they actually cannot stop it.
I just don't see it happening.
And 20 has been reached. They soaked long enough. Kung Fu Hustle being picked up on Dreadnought. They are going to need stellar defense to stop this 20-minute Dragonite.
Or a Humongoid. Ah, that is the level 20 upgrade for the Gargantuan. Do you think Gargantuan has been doing enough work in this game to justify...
Especially early game, I thought it was very impactful, but the rest of the game, I'm not too sure. Soldier laying out the damage with that strafe, but the core objective is, in fact, the core as they are wailing away on it, and I think that's going to be it. Trader gets a nice big Ancestral onto him. It's down to 50%, and game one is going to 2Arc Iliad.
That's right. With the VP, that's certainly going to be enough to lock out members of Tempo Storm from defending that core. Yeah.
Convincing play.
It was convincing play. They kept the map control, and I was just sort of waiting for the moment where Tempo Storm was going to just do some crazy plays and start rotating, but the way that they were moving around the map, sticking together, not getting picked or anything, they weren't responding to ETC's split pressure like in a bad way or anything like that. They just kept moving forward as a team, didn't get flustered at any point, and just slow pushed it to victory.
And they just, and kept that lead. Kind of low kill game, only 3 to 9 in terms of kills, but it's the early kills, I think, that made the difference because they started off like with a bang. I mean, they picked off Glaurung on ETC first, and they just followed up. They got more kills in the bottom lane, and they just kept that momentum moving forward. They never fell behind in experience once they took that lead. So very well played to work, but this is a best of 5 series.
Right.
And, well, I think we got a lot of good games coming up.
We do. We really do. So we'll try to get that game number 2 set up for you guys between 2Arc Iliad and Tempo Storm. So stick around.
Alrighty, guys, we are back here in the ESL Major League Americas. I'm Solid Jake, joined by the Kubi.
Ooh, doing introductions for me. What a guy. What a
Goodness.
guy.
And you know what? We're going to tell these guys to get going
That's
with
right.
our Game 3 draft. We are
right.
good to
What's
go.
the map? Cursed
Oh,
Hollow. Wow,
ooh.
you can type without looking?
So esports.
How did you do that?
So esports. Okay,
Oh,
well, yes, Cursed Hollow is in fact our next map of this series, Coobs.
I
And
think that is Tempo's best map.
they
It is
have a pretty good win rate, being 100%.
being 100%. That's right. What did we just play on? We played on.
Dragonshire.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez.
And
Blank for a second.
Dragonshire, I mean, hey, that happens, man. But Dragonshire, if you look at 2ARC, that's one of their stronger maps.
So-
They've got a 75% win rate on that map.
Yep.
And if you look at the side of Tempo Storm, they've only got a 66% win rate. So a little bit lower.
These low pool amount of statistics. what do they always say? Sample size, please. Jeez.
Sample.
3 or 4 games, but still, it's something that obviously, especially for maps like Blackheart's Bay for Cloud9, it makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
So good to point it out.
Well, the draft has begun, and we're going to switch on over to that with Jaina being the ban once again and Rhaegar being a follow-up.
Okay, Rhaegar did some work last game. There weren't any. No, there were definitely a couple ancestral healings that were very much on point. We're talking less than 5% HP back up to full. Those always
just
turn
change
a fight.
fights,
They
yeah.
really do.
But, you know, that was on the side of 2ARC, and they had the Rhaegar, and they say, look,
Oh yeah,
we
jeez.
realize the power of that,
Yeah.
and you have first pick, so we don't want you to have it. And Tempo is just going to take a safe play, pick up that Vala, that damage. She's very highly sought after, but she hasn't been as prioritized in this patch compared to previous patches.
Very true with the loss of the paddle momentum and the invincibility on Vault still. The damage is going to be there. And we'll have to see what 2ARC follows up with. I mean, they had so much that was working really well for them. The Tychus play was very solid. Diablo play was good. They just looked pretty good all around, so they can opt to go for any of those again. Still, what is strong? Oh, they're stealing Zagara? I don't recall 2ARC playing all that much Zagara over the past patch.
If I'm not mistaken, we saw it was 2ARC that ran Zagara's Air Tool on Cursed Hollow in Titan Arena last week.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that was the first time I had seen them run Zagara. We haven't seen them run it much here in ESL, but it's definitely interesting that they prioritize it so early, and they know Tempo Storm likes that hero.
They do. So it's perhaps a bit of a mind game steal. They just don't want to deal with that. Although I will say that the Maws weren't exactly on point. I think that they could have capitalized on those
Yeah.
quite a bit more,
Can't argue.
especially if they had taken Reign of Vengeance. So there was a lot more potential. Jake has a puzzled look. Look.
No, I'm just thinking deeply
Okay.
here as to like what kind of things they could do to really capitalize on this. Now, this is a map where I think Tempo Storm does actually really like Lost Vikings. How early will they pick them though, if at all? And
Stitches Toronto?
Stitch Toronto makes a ton of sense, but is that what they want now?
Glauron? Stitches? Could be.
It's more than in the realm of possibilities, but it's still so early in the draft that there's a million different styles that can work. The game is becoming more and more diverse, and it just comes down to how they felt. Now, in that last composition, Ancestral was a key element as to the bullying of them, but they're opting for just straight up damage.
Yeah,
In
it's a
your
lot of
face. These three here, I mean, arguably two of the best ranged assassins. Jane is being banned out. She's that big mage, which is going to be removed. And then no one even comes close to Illidan's just in-your-face capability and janitorial duties in terms of like how
With his
consistent he
sweeping
is.
strike.
He's going to get that
Yes.
floor real clean.
All right, so 2ARC's build, or at least their composition so far, doesn't really point to any particular strategies one way or the other. They could go for a very healing-heavy style, although it's not really in their style of play, I guess, in general. But they still have been known to run it in the past. We'll have to see what they grab moving forward. ETC still available, although I think that is their most hated hero. But I think that's just for bans. So they are still known to run it when needed. What do you think is the best warrior for Tempo Storm? Do you think ETC makes the most sense, or do you foresee them grabbing Diablo?
I actually think we're going to see Chen. It's
Oh, it
it's
is
tempo.
curse, and
It's
they,
tempo
they
and
do
curse.
tend to run this. This is
Yeah.
a good point.
They've flat out just won games with Chen on this map, and I would be actually really surprised. And that's something Torque has to be well aware of, and they have to have a response to. Now, the Maw can stop the barrel. The Maw is a phenomenal response to the aggression that is provided with Chen, and typically they have Zagara to complement Chen. So, maybe that's dissuading. They can't do Chen Zeratul, and Tuark can still pick up Zeratul if that's what they opt for.
We see the mouth.
ETC will be picked up by Tuark, I think. I don't think there's any... I mean, stage dive is huge. I can't see them giving it up.
Even Maw into dance.
Yeah.
Although we don't see it run that often, who knows? Perhaps Tuark is feeling confident with that. That might be the case.
Well, we'll see. They have plenty of time to consider this
There it
option, and there he is. Yeah, I would have... I mean, it just makes so much sense, just the options and power the cow actually provides. But now tempo, they have to get the heals. They have to get the tank. And I think Chen Uther makes a lot of sense.
Sonya Uther. Do it. Actually, this looks very similar to the draft. Where is it? Sonya Uther, Illidan, Vala, Jaina. So just swap out Jaina for Tychus. But it's quite simple. They could opt to go for that Sonya Uther play. Not all that common, but could be.
No, we saw that earlier today, so it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. But it all comes down to preference, and you're down a series, and you want to play safe. You don't want to do something super crazy. We don't see them play a lot of Sonya in general, so I'd be shocked. I would almost put a bag of flips on Akubi.
I'm contemplating. So I want to bet on this one. Oh, bag of flips. I can't do it. My gut's telling me no. I can't do it. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I can't.
He backs out. He's a wuss.
Oh, you could just make preposterous claims. Uther, please don't do it. I'll be so mad at myself. Uther can fit into a lot of compositions, so not necessarily. It's probably Diablo.
Diablo or Chen, they both make sense. They complement.
There's not a lot of auto attackers for Tuark, so I think taking Muradin isn't really that necessary. Yeah, Chen, they have been known to run Chen in the past, so there's 3 options. One of them will make me so upset that I didn't take a bet.
Okay.
They're dipping in, not quite. Taking their time thinking about it.
Yeah, it's their final pick. There's no rush. There's so much on the line here.
Yes.
Advancing to that winners finals for the shot at that prize money, $2,000 for first place. It's a $4,200 prize pool. If you manage to even make it to the grand finals, you're guaranteed $1,000. And yes, they do stick for the Gen Storm set. We've seen Glaurung just steal boss after boss after boss on this map. And what do they have to respond with it? I mean, yes, ETC is great. They've got the Maw. And they have one final pick, but they need a big damage dealer. And I think Falstad makes a lot of sense.
Yes, if they set up for Roots plus Maw plus Dance, even they might not even need Dance for that, but there's still a lot of things that can set up for very, very heavy damaging Hinterland blasts. So
your Massachusetts accent came
I
out
know.
there.
I just heard it. I was like, as I was saying, Hinterland.
I love it. A rare slip from Kubi.
Yeah, it's not that common. All right, but yeah, I think that makes for a good setup. Jake's so pleased with himself right now.
All right, well, Falstad makes a lot of sense. Hammer's still on the table. Hammer has received a bit of a nerf in terms of the health pool, so not as popular right now. But Vikings and Nazebo are 2 other huge options.
None of these.
We talked about Zero.
Oh yeah, we did.
We talked about Zero. Yeah. The VP and the Maw. We saw it last week. Why not do it again?
I haven't been convinced of this combo yet, Jake.
It looked good last week. We didn't look earlier today when we saw it, but
no.
It was a different team wielding it. Maybe Tuark is the one.
Every team is, well, aside from Temple Storm, but we'll see if every team will give their hand at trying it. So far, it's 0-2. 0-2? Is that right? Maybe it's 0-3. I gotta check real quick. Zagara. Lost there. Checking my sweet fact sheet right now. Nope, just 0-2.
Okay.
Just 0-2.
Okay. Well, We are going to get this next game ready. I have given the players the go-ahead. Kubi's going to give them the go-ahead, too.
Give them my blessings.
Just the blessings, the blessings. This is the second game of the series. Man, that lobby is just flipping all over itself. The new UI, I just have to give Blizzard constant props because, my goodness, is it wonderful. Look at how pretty that is. They still haven't fixed that middle observer slot, but you'll get it someday, Blizzard.
At least Tychus has his helmet shut, though. Go back.
Oh, we don't have to look at his face.
When he readies up, his helmet's shut. They had 2 Tychuses there. One of them was looking real derpy. And but, all right.
Well, this is going to be the second game of the series. Tuark is currently up 1-0, guys. And, all right, this is a map that we've seen Tempo Storm have a lot of success on.
That's true. That's a good point. Still no stitches picked for either game. Oh, that's right.
Yep, very good. Keeping things clean.
Keeping
the bile off the floor.
Yep.
You gotta just Chen is much
doesn't
more
want
clean.
to
He
clean
wipes his mouth after he drinks. That's not something that Stitches.
All right, I want to hear your theories about this Zagara Zeratul. What really is the optimal team fight to take with this? Considering the lineup that Tempo Storm has.
It's conceptually, you can treat it a lot like a hook with a Maw or a hook with a VP, because if you can separate just the Maw, if the Maw hits one person and the VP hits 2 people, and you can just consolidate and destroy 1 or 2 heroes, it's plenty.
Okay.
It's plenty, right? You just gotta separate, divide, and conquer, and then you're good. You win. You win the video game.
All right. We'll see. I think we've seen a couple of those instances being executed, but not necessarily having the damage follow-up. I think that's really been the key factor. Do they have the damage follow-up? I guess that would be Tassadar. Is that enough?
Well, we will find out, Kubus Maximus. The game is loading up.
That's right.
Why don't you introduce our teams while I make sure our overlay is good and dandy?
Oh, I can absolutely do that. For 2R Gaming on the blue side, we have Furious D playing Tassadar. Chubbs is going to be on Malfurion. Panucci on ETC. Trader playing Zagara. And Quibsy on Zeratul.
And on the right side, as I get things set up, that is, in fact, Tempo Storm, and in the red, it's going to be KO playing as Vala Soldier, on Illidan Dreadnought playing Uther, Arthalon rocking the Tychus, and Glowering rounding it out on the green Money Pig playing as Chen Stormstout.
Well, I'm checking the Tassadar build every time. It's almost different everywhere. We've seen extra range. We've seen the mana refunded. We've seen mana regeneration. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
increased.
There's a lot of options. There's not many heroes that have that many viable picks at level 1.
That's true.
And that's just kind of the fun. It just comes down to preference at the end of the day.
Speaking of viability of different talents, we have the rapid displacement, which is a blink cooldown. Zeratul, another one of those heroes. Blink cooldown. We have block. We have first aid. There's so many. Greater cleave. Almost all of them are viable, actually. I think
Protoss are so tricky. No. They got so many options.
I know.
I wish I was a Protoss.
Consuming Flames from Chen. That's a little bit more of a damage.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting.
I think it's block or no, Regen Master.
Typically it's Regen Master. Actually, 9 times out of 10 it's been Regen Master. Now, in the past, I know Glowering used to really like this talent in the old meta, back in the Storm Earth and Fire days. So, that just means he's been touring around, trying out new things with the Chen Stormstout, and he's found himself a style that he finds to be a little bit more optimal. Yep. And maybe he just finds that, well, the Uther is going to be enough healing to keep him alive, and it's going to be exciting to see this pan out.
Bit of aggression is lined up in the bottom lane for Tempo Storm, whereas 2Arc spreading their force is a bit thin, I guess you could say, or spread out a little bit more. Not really attempting to apply any heavy pressure in any lane, but really just to defend and get that soak.
Yeah, well, the root goes down onto Dreadnought. Just going to be there to apply a little bit of damage, a little bit of aggression, and they're just going to keep on pushing in. They want to keep the Zagara in general at bay the best they can, especially with a Malfurion providing him that with the Innervate, having unlimited mana on a Zagara is, well, it's quite scary.
And a very fast Giant Camp is going to be taken from Soldier and Dreadnought. And Arthalon, taking quite a bit of damage mid lane.
Has to tap that well, got to be safe. And Dread might decide to rotate up to give him a nice heal. Now, the first tribute is not all too far off. These Giants will provide a bit of aggression, but with the tribute spawning in the bottom lane, it's not going to give them the maximum capability, and that's why you see two of them here, because they know the Zeratul could provide a potential steal on those Giants. That's why Dread opted to go with our Illidan player to just make sure he's safe.
Yes. Level 4 hit for both teams as 2Ark finds himself in the defensive position to capture this first tribute. KO and Dreadnought looking to continue interrupting that, and we'll be able to do so. But the rotation from the rest of 2Ark, I think, is going to force Dreadnought back, if not costing him his life. Not quite. I think the blink was already used.
Yeah, I mean, tanks are in the top lane. It is now a rough situation considering the damage they've taken, but they can move in, and with our Tychus player making his way down, they have that damage potential. And it's really the Tassadar and Malfurion sustain that's going to make this very difficult.
Yeah, actually the healers both finding themselves quite low in HP, and I think that you're right, the sustain at all, and actually the Hungering Arrow very barely was able to reach Furious D. Still, 2Ark remaining steadfast and wanting to capture this, the healing wave. Gosh, they're just being so obnoxious. And actually, okay, we see Tychus rotate back up to the mid lane. This means that Tempo Storm has no real intention of taking this. They just want to try to stall as long as possible so that they can get an experience lead. And you can already see it starting to creep up.
Yeah, slowly but surely, they're going to get an advantage. If
they
can
can't
stall
die.
This out.
No,
but, yeah,
okay.
Dread losing his life, that's going to like pretty much negate any advantage they could have picked up with this. If they can continue to stall it out, that Ghost actually can't stun it out. It can only heal. So back in the day, that Ghost would be obnoxious on that tribute, just sitting there smacking you, but no longer able to use anything but a new heal that it has in the Ghost form.
Yep. Quibsy actually providing quite a bit of chase onto Arthalon in the mid lane, forcing him to tap that well. And now very, very slight EXP lead for 2Ark.
Yeah, it is pretty darn close, but we are creeping up on that level 7. And that will be picked up in just a moment.
Swift reflexes for Chen. Usually we see, what, amplified healing there?
It goes both ways.
Okay.
Definitely can see swift reflexes based on the enemy team's composition.
Okay.
And just kind of thinking about the Tassadar, thinking about things. I think the vision is a little bit weird. I'm not sure how to change that. There we go.
Jake was just like, for a second there, like really scared. Like, oh no, what if I have to cast this game from one side?
They did make some changes to the UI, and well, we learned something new today. Well, but look at this. Tempo Storm, they're going for a very, very early boss, but Panucci will scout this out, forcing them off of that. So what could have been a nice cheeky maneuver will be thwarted, and they need to beeline down to this bottom tribute to stall it out. Quibsy going to start capping it immediately, but KO is on the case.
Ooh, Dreadnought actually getting caught in the roots. And did he cleanse himself? No, not quite. Okay. Is able to back out. Quibsy a little bit too far forward.
Wow.
Then to end up falling.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Taking out Quibsy like that at the start of the fight, that's a lot of damage output they have lost. They're going in for Chubbs. Now, Soldier, he's got that first aid. And yeah, he's going to be okay. The heal's coming up from Dread. Tribute was picked up, so it's 1 for 1 in terms of tribute count. But during all of this, these Siege Giants are doing work up in the top lane.
So many interesting talents have been grabbed. We see loudspeakers for ETC. That's extra knockback on the face melt, which is almost never taken. Usually we see the crit hit, which is guitar solo, I think is the name of the talent, which provides quite a bit of damage output for ETC. So we're looking for more control for Panucci, at least, just to disrupt fights. Also, pretty much a full burst heal style build for Malfurion with that enduring growth, opting not to take some other choices at level 7.
Quibsy is very far forward right now. He will end up getting blown up trying to contest Soldier here at his own giant camp. So that is a very unfortunate situation where he will be dead and not in the initial fight here for the third tribute of the game. And both teams are rapidly closing in on level 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, still really close. Actually, Tempo Storm was probably a good bit down going into this, but they have caught themselves up. Glauron putting forward a really forward position on Furious D. Trying to make the body blocks might actually be enough to get the kill here. One more leap from Glauron will do it, and they are now at a 4v5 situation, I think. Yeah, absolutely. They have to back up. And all of a sudden, Tempo Storm is looking real solid.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of Chen Illidan, uncontested. They can just flip over you for days, and level 20 has been hit. Now, Kubi throwing his hands in the air. I talked about the potential of this today. Do I no longer owe you a bag of flips?
No, no, you said that game. You said that game, but we have Divine Shield.
I knew it was coming
Illidan.
in this
Divine
meta.
Shield and Illidan.
I know.
Makes so much sense.
I've felt it coming for a little while now, and I'm just really happy to finally see it being picked up.
Yeah.
So
there was a change to its level 20. It no longer grants himself an extra shield. I can't remember.
I'm not gonna bungle this either. But
Okay.
look at this position. They're going for it. ETC dashing on in. Dread gets hit by that root, but there are those heroics. Now the Divine Shield is going to be a crucial part of this fight. There's the Dragon Laser Drill, and it's getting zoned out by the Void Prison. Glaurung. When is that barrel going to be used? There it goes, disrupting, keeping his team alive, and the Metamorphosis is going to get maximum efficiency. He needs to stay relatively close to his heals, but no, Maw is going to scoop him up for the time being, but it's still a 1-for-1 in terms of the team fight right now.
Divine Shield was pretty clutch in keeping KO alive throughout the rest of that fight.
Those heals.
And yeah, pretty impactful on that 1.5-second cooldown. He's able to keep a lot of the members of Tempo Storm alive. And Panucci throwing down that stage dive to clip, and they are going to be able to secure a kill on Arthlon. Soldiers next.
This is actually just a terrible situation. KO vaulting on out. Soldier did in fact get away. Glaurung is going to be safe, so they just need to back out. But during all of this has been a relatively long fight. The boss did take out that top fort and is continuing to march with a rather large wave. The tribute going to get scooped up, so it's 2-2, but Tempo Storm, they're still sitting in a pretty solid position right now.
What a close game between these two juggernauts of teams right here. 3 kills to 4 kills. The structures are pretty close. Just that one fort that's being taken in the top lane, and I love it. Crazy talents being taken. Divine Shield.
I'm excited. I mean, I've been excited for a while, and it's finally coming out in a match with stakes this high. And I think that's the time to unveil these crazy strategies.
It's kind of like a weird substitute for Ancestral Healing.
In a lot of ways,
in
a lot of ways. The core functionality is the same because Illidan has that self-sustain, and it's all about just giving him that buffer to keep himself alive.
Yeah, we were talking like Illidan does work if he has time and HP to do it. And this is something that absolutely gives him time. I mean, he can't even be stunned out. So, yeah, Ancestral Healing also is not as good in that sense because this grants you invulnerability
and movement speed, 20% movement speed and invulnerability. So that makes Illidan actually just
change.
I think it is the change. But I'm not gonna make any crazy claims right now. Now Glaurung in the front line, the dash forward, the Void Prison only connected with Panucci. That's not what they wanted. That was a friendly VP, and they forced to disengage. The Strafe and Barrel are doing so much, but here comes the Tranquility. Stage dive has to be used on Panucci to keep himself alive, but it's not going to be enough. With Malfurion going down, Panucci backing on out. The laser drill is forcing the zoning in. Right now, everyone is just so very low. Illidan cleans up, and he goes for Panucci. Quibsy getting caught out. Flying kick goes in, and it's just going to be a singularity spike as a last-ditch effort. That's going to be a curse. And Tempo Storm, they didn't lose a single player in that fight.
They didn't, and it was crazy. I was actually surprised how long Panucci stayed alive using that stage dive to sort of stall it out. But still, the Void Prison kind of ended up whiffing. I think they were really hoping to get a little bit more value out of that. And of course, in combination with the Maw and the stage dive having to be used defensively, just a lot of heroics, a lot of resources being used for the 2-arc side of things that weren't getting a lot of value. You want to talk about value, let's talk about the barrel and how well it was splitting up the enemy team. And like you mentioned too, the Strafe was just pretty much hitting all 5 members of 2-arc uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, Glaurung was just doing circles, and the circle was like the exact radius of the Strafe, so it was something wonderful. They're leashing that boss just to get eyes on, to find the location of Tempo Storm. All 5 members are up, level 13 just being reached here for 2-arc, and they just have a very small talent advantage, but look at those heroic cooldowns. 2-arc is in no position to fight for another 15 seconds.
Face Melt also picked up from Panucci here on ETC. That's the 80% slow over 2 seconds. So you see people like crawling away after getting hit by that. That's what it is. Not a common pickup at all. But of course, it is 2-arc. They tend to pick the less common talents. Talent choices there, of course, Ice Block from Malfurion. We've seen that time and time again being so clutch and keeping him alive when he takes the focus. Spell Shield for Uther. Jake, what do you think? Good choice? His level 13 is a little different now that he doesn't have Sprint.
Yeah, I think Spell Shield, I mean, Uther's going to be a priority target to try to blow up. Yeah. This is going to make it a lot harder to do that. Zeratul does have a lot of spell power, so that's going to help with that quite a bit. So it's interesting. I'm not sure what other options are even available at this point in time, and they're going to get a very clean kill on Zagara, which is going to open up the doors and pick up the boss.
That's right. That's actually very, very big too, because it's going to get them pretty much a safe ride to level 16 in quick fashion, and it's going to give them a lot more opportunity to get very aggressive. We can actually see the 2-Arc is now rotating up to the top. They say, well, we're going to make the best of the situation. Yeah, they're going to get that golem for free. We cannot do anything to stop it. We'll make the best of it. We'll take this top fort to try to nominalize the EXP disadvantage.
Now, look at this, though. Giants are pushing. Fort is already down. That golem is a massive threat. If they don't get out with their heart, to make it out, Furious Team Panucci. Now, Stage Dive is available if absolutely necessary. Glaurung and Soldier with the flank here. They're looking for these kills, and Furious D is in a very peculiar situation.
Yeah, it looks as though the members that ended up harking back will be given the time to catch up, and Soldier actually might have to use Metamorphosis over the wall to keep himself alive. Not quite. Dread is able to stay in there, turning right around. The VP catching the 2 members of the back line. Will Glaurung and Soldier be able to stay alive, and they're using that barrel to try to disrupt the fight.
And they're just knocking them in, pushing them forward. We see that Divine Shield being used on Glaurung to keep him alive right now. The Maw goes off, but the Laser Drill is just going to town, shredding through the team of 2-Arc Gaming. The roots will be negated as flips don't obey the laws of the grass, and Chubbs is now going to end up falling. Bottom lane, bottom keep has fallen to this massive Merc pressure, and Temple Storm is moving on in for the throat.
Wow, you want to talk about the effectiveness of that Divine Storm?
And Divine Shield, you mean?
That's, I'm so used to saying it, you know? It's
it kept Chen alive.
It
really did what it needed to do. Now Quipsy gonna end up falling. Yeah. Only Tassadar Zagar up right now. Zagar just respawned. That's gonna be 2 keeps. The Golem's gonna end up falling, and Temple Storm can just back up, grab the tribute, grab their boss, and sit nice and comfy and sip some coffee.
That's right. They do need to, I think they're going to prioritize capping this tribute before they end up going for the boss. Of course, they want to make sure that they don't give 2-Arc some way to get back into the game. Then that would be probably through a curse, some kind of split push. And I don't think that they have the position right now, especially with that Clairvoyance. They're going to have a very strong heads up of them trying to push in to make a, I guess, a cheeky play to try and steal that out.
Considering that they're at 2 tributes, they are on deck for a curse. If they manage to take a fight, turn it into a curse, and then push in, they're really going to normalize this levels quite a bit. So that's all it takes to really get back into this game. But Temple Storm, they have that advantage, and if they're capable of maintaining it through this kind of pressure, they're going to be sitting pretty.
Very good point. Level 16 has been hit for both teams. 2-Arc catching up there.
Are we going to see a crazy stage dive? Barrel is ready. Everyone is here. And there goes that preemptive laser drill. They just want to put that in early.
They know.
The root's going forward, and they don't want to let anything crazy happen. Now they are focusing that very quickly. There is the stage dive, and a barrel will be used in response to pick up this boss as quickly as possible. But the Maw is buying him out. Soldier getting very low. The Divine Shield is buying him enough time. Huge plays. KO super low. Dreadnought just vaulting out. They're still sitting on that point. I don't even know who's going to win it. It's going both ways. I actually think 2-Arc, no, just barely doesn't do it. The Singularity Spike's coming out. Oh my goodness.
Healing himself.
The dimensional shifted, and that put him off the cap.
Oh, that is devastating for 2-Arc. That was quite possibly one of the closest team fights.
He's dancing. He's dancing.
Oh my god, the PM from 2-Arc. I mean, from Temple Storm, from Arthalon. Wow. That was okay. That was a statement. That fight was crazy. It's impossible to call.
I can't talk. I'm done. That was actually so close, so insane. So many just very frame-specific situations
Illidan
with
just
the Maw.
Didn't die. Just like wasn't dying. It was like, I'm just not going to lose any HP. And
Divine Shield.
Divine Shield making huge plays there. Wow.
Okay, well, this puts that lead even further forward for Temple Storm. The boss starting to wail away at that keep. All 5 members now alive, healthy. Final keep gonna end up falling here, and they are on deck for yet another curse and level 20. Taking out that keep, they are oh so very close.
Yes, this keeps them busy for a little bit. Like you mentioned, they take that final keep. That's just so much constant pressure that is being thrown at the core in the form of those catapults. They can continue to rotate around. They're taking the most forward mercenary camp that they can. They will take these, and then probably waiting for the next tribute, which should be okay. There it is, right now.
Oh my goodness, this is
The
forcing
positioning.
the fight. They're so close to level 20, just soaking a few minions. We'll get it. No, there it is right now. And we see that hardened shield. Chen was hard enough to kill with Divine Shield. That's being picked up. The increased range on the laser drill is going to make it
It's going to
incredibly
make it
formidable.
so hard to move in. Like, they can just throw the laser down preemptively and make it nearly impossible. There it is.
And
Look at
there
the range
is
on
a
that
big
thing.
stage dive, and yeah, you mentioned that laser drill. Now with Quibsy in the back line doing what he can to blow it up. He knows the damage output is real for it, and he's just trying to remove it, and they're just moving on forward. Look at that Void Prison, just locking them out, and then the Metamorphosis being used at the last possible second by Soldier. Where is the Divine
There
Shield?
it is.
There it goes, keeping him alive. First Aid doing wonders, and you just cannot stop him. He's powering through Chubbs. Quibsy is going to be able to juke with that blink, and oh no, the grenade connects, but he's not going to be slowed. He's going to be able to back on out, but that's going to be game.
I talk about teams really practicing, developing their own crazy strategies for this playoffs bracket. I think that the Divine Storm Illidan is pretty unique.
Divine Shield.
Oh, God. Just give me a couple games. I'll get it, Jake, I swear.
Oh man, I'm so incredibly satisfied by that Divine Shield though, and seriously, this new Uther. A lot of people were worrisome. They took Sprint away.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're changing his ghost. His ghost is going to be worse. I think Uther is actually. I'm so much happier with the way the hero functions.
Yeah.
He's less of a stun bot, more of like a big playmaking support. With this kind of style, he's got that resurgence capability. We
like
saw Divine Shield picked up and win in a tournament where the stakes are massive for the first time ever. When crazy support things happen, Jake gets so hyped.
Jake gets real excited. Yeah, that was fine. I think he took the resurgence talent.
Yes,
I
level
don't recall
20.
the name of it, but after he dies, goes into ghost form and resurrects after the ghost form is done
With 50% health,
HP. So it dies, does a ton of healing, which it's really a lot. Every
It
1.5
is.
seconds, like, just heal, and like you're getting 30% of your HP back for heals.
It's
so
kind of like
silly.
having a spirit healer. If you ever played PvP in World of Warcraft when the priest dies, that spirit healer just doesn't let your team die. That's what Uther is. I know you don't get the reference. A lot of nerds out there will, so I'm making it, okay?
All right, fine.
All right.
So the other thing to mention that why it really works so well with this composition, obviously Illidan makes a lot of sense. Like just any way that you can keep him alive,
Yes.
keep him going in those team fights. What's the way that you counter Chen? We've seen a lot of teams do it. We'll just back up, not get hit by it, but just kill it.
Right. The Maw did stop it a few times.
Yeah.
Maw connected it twice, and
Yeah.
that's huge if you can do that, but
Yeah. But
still.
if you have the team that is able to focus down the barrel, just Divine Shield it.
Yeah, and
Right.
we saw that happen in that fight in the top lane, where
Yeah.
it's just like, he is going to die.
Nope.
He's great.
So
He's
many
good.
times, and Illidan, he gets the shield that just buys him so much time to, first aid isn't totally instant healing. It's a little bit over time, so you're giving him some time to get healed.
Yeah.
Uther heal, auto attacks healing himself. It's
And props to Dreadnought
nuts.
for just being on point with that every
Yeah.
single time, because you have to be positioned properly. Illidan, Chen, both of them flip all over the place. They
Right,
are
that's a
actually
good point.
all over the map, and Dread just was so on point in the entire game.
Yeah,
So,
I love it.
yeah, guys, we're going to get ready for the game number 3. 1-1 currently between Tuark Iliad and Tempo Storm. This is the semifinals of the ESL Major League America, and the stakes are high.
All right, stick around, guys. We'll be back in just a few.
Guys, welcome back here to the ESL Major League Americas.
I'm Kubi.
And
This
I'm-
guy.
and-
Solid J.
oh,
Oh, come on
oh,
off.
oh,
Ah!
Okay. Try again.
Try what again? I just introduced us. It's done.
Excellent. Good. Great.
Good.
Grand.
Let's just see if you were paying attention. Oh, boy. All right, Jake. We're going into game number 3
We are.
between 2Arc and Temple Storm. Saw a lot of interesting stuff. Divine Shield. That's the name of that ability.
did it. You did
Got
it.
it. Got it. Yes. And a little bit of BM. Fun BM. Cool, crazy fights. I went down to doing the
Take a
Snoop Dogg.
stance. Take a stand.
Good stuff.
Game number 3. It's tied up 1-1.
Yes.
The map is Sky Temple.
That it is.
And the draft is about to begin.
What are we going to see this time? Also, some really cool talents that were picked up for ETC. Just overall cool stuff. I'm seeing so much ingenuity, some inventiveness from all these teams so far.
Well, Illidan is going to be the ban here from 2Arc,
Yeah.
and Rhaegar is the follow-up. So none of that. But do we see Tempestorm pulling out the Uther again, putting the pressure on? Now, Illidan was a big part of that strategy.
It's true. But if they have to ban out Illidan, then perhaps this will allow them to set up for other strategies that they want to pick that involve pairs, maybe. Stitches, Tyrande could be very viable here. Maybe not so much on Skanto. Oh, Jaina, of course. Anytime, I think. Wait, do we have a 100% win rate so far for Jaina? Yeah. She's banned out here. Yeah, 100% win rate for Jaina so far. We'll see if it continues through. All right. So Vala picked up first for 2Arc, and then a Jaina Zagara. Feel very comfortable on that Zagara. Actually, a lot of teams really seem to be favoring Zagara quite a bit.
Yeah.
Maw plus all of that crazy AoE damage that Jaina can throw down.
Right. Especially when you pop out of the maw, you just set up the Blizzard, and it's so much power just right off the bat, and there's just so many things that work well with it. So it's a great way to start the draft with just like a lot of damage that you just don't have to worry about, and it doesn't necessarily lock you into a specific style, because this still
not.
works very well with Tyrande, Diablo, Tyrande Stitches if that's something they want to do. There's a ton of options available on the table.
And you have to think, should 2Arc be worried about that? Because if they let them take Stitches Tyrande at this point, you have ridiculous setup. If you
That's
get
true.
those 3 heroes on a team, on top of that you have Zagara as well to lock out the enemy team. That really doesn't get any better for that if you want to try to execute that style strategy. But 2Arc, they might have their own plans.
I mean, this is a map where crazy kind of strats like material usage can shine through, and we're seeing Void Prison already be picked up. Not a common thing that we see a lot of teams do. 2Arc has that's one of their crutches. They like Void Prison a lot in the last few weeks. They make plays with it, and they have the response to that maw if needed, and there's just a lot of cool things. And Zeratul in general, he took a small nerf in terms of double bombs. The second bomb does 50% damage, but still incredibly powerful hero.
Very, very good points to make. So we're gonna have to see if that Stitches Tyrande is picked up. Now it's also kind of a counter to a maw. It depends on what actually gets thrown down and like wasted after follow up on the maw. If a VP goes down to sort of shield your teammates that it got caught inside. We haven't really seen that type of play just yet. There's the Uther once again. Do we see a more aggressive hero to fill out the target for Divine Shield? Perhaps we'll just see Divine Storm as well. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it goes both. That's actually the nice
Flexibility.
thing. You show Divine Shield, and you show it with a lot of effectiveness. Suddenly, the option
Suddenly
is like,
Illidan is banned. Suddenly
right. Suddenly the drafting's like, oh well, we actually have to be worried about XYZ. Also, Divine Storm pairs so well with Maw. It could be very good with Chen once again. We could see ETC. There's a bajillion things on the table, but I think we'll see ETC picked up.
Sonya.
Oh.
Sonya, please.
Yeah, I mean,
Nah, they haven't been running it too much. It's usually Maelstrom, if it's going to be any of the teams. All right. Yeah. Can't see why they wouldn't want to take ETC here. Of course. As soon as I get done saying that, Diablo!
Lord Dibbles will be picked up, and this could signal something like Thrall. If there's a team that has tried out Thrall, I wouldn't be surprised if it's
It's
Tempo.
one of these two teams.
Yeah, I would actually have to say that. I say Thrall needs a companion with his aggression. That could be Arthas. That could be Diablo. He needs someone that can dive in with him. Divine Shield might be that other thing, and then you just the power of Earthquake and Sundering on a map like this, where you're fighting over the temples, is very good. Now they pick up ETC Mouth. That's rock solid composition.
Really?
Didn't even
Did you
intend
just
it.
really?
Oh, yeah.
No, don't fist pump that. Don't. That was awful.
Okay.
I would love to see Thrall so much though.
I went from like this
points.
manly to like the most high pitched giggle, and like in the history of casting, and I'm so proud of myself for it. Now, no, but that is a very, very well-rounded composition. They've got the ton of sustainability between Tassadar and Malfurion. ETC is very formidable in terms of just being a frontliner, and then the Void Prison for the control and the damage output, especially considering Jane on the other side. Zeratul is going to be hunting.
Thrall.
Throw. We can do 60 more seconds of that.
We can do it, right? You ready?
Nope.
We can
Nope.
switch off maybe.
Nope.
Not happening. All right. Oh! Yes! 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 Oh! Yes! I can fist bump that, right? Yeah.
All right, Sonya Kubi's going to be pulling out his red wig, putting it on, getting his face paint on, and or war paint, shall they call it?
Wait, didn't they? Oh, they haven't updated the portrait.
Not in Stormcraft. In the actual client, her portrait is much more beautiful,
It's about as
Much
beautiful
less.
as she can be.
much less.
Yeah. All right, so man, there is so much to talk about.
That's what my mom looks like if I come
Oh,
home and there's tons
what?
of dishes on the counter.
Okay,
she is
I
just
was like-
furious. She is just
I was
furious.
like, where could he possibly take the rest of the sentence so that he's not?
No,
you know,
high
6
school
feet
Jake
under.
makes a mess. Sonya
Uh-huh.
comes home and she's just not happy.
God. Oh, I like the Sonya play. All right, so Diablo, Uther. It's gonna be Divine Storm, this game.
Divine Stromboli seems very likely, but you
much.
never know. You never know. You can't count it out. And
Whirlwind build,
with
Divine Storm.
we've been
Shield?
talking
Divine
about,
Shield?
we've actually been theory crafting the idea of like Hardened Shield maybe providing immunity for stuns, and that's the crutch that Sonya doesn't have. But yeah, Divine Shield could actually make her
Plus 20% movement speed.
potentially more terrifying than Illidan in a lot of ways.
Full Power Rangers Viking mode. Look at this thing.
Power Rangers Viking mode.
Look at that.
No.
Sorry, guys.
No.
I the helmet just looks so weird. I used to like. I like the
so
swords.
Coop-
The swords are cool. I know that there's some kind of WoW reference, Matt, with
It's-
all pink.
That's
Pink Viking.
That's warrior armor that you can get.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
high.
okay.
Well, back in the day, that was high.
Isn't
high
the
level
actual
rating
armor though, like the shoulder pieces? Aren't those D3 armor pieces? And then she's got like half WoW.
Yeah,
half-
I think it's a mashup,
That's-
but
Not feeling it.
Power Ranger.
She looks like a Power Ranger with that helmet.
Power Ranger Viking guys, send us
If
your
Power Rangers
send
and
us your
Vikings
best
were-
pictures of Power Ranger Vikings
Yeah, I'd
on
like
Twitter.
to see that. That'd be pretty cool.
It would please me a lot. Game number 3 about to begin. The score is presently 1-1.
Yeah. You know who else has 100% win rate this playoff so far? Sonya.
Good.
Good.
Proud-
He says.
proud
So
of you.
this is for you getting so excited about Divine Shield and all this stuff. I get my moment with Sonya. All right.
If Duo Q is a show we used to do, if we do see Divine Shield
Oh.
on Uther and Sonya, we're gonna do a special episode.
Oh yes.
of
All right. So
Duo
I didn't
Q.
even get a chance to talk about the whirlwind a little bit more in detail. So you can spec into it so that you get tons of lifesteal on it. So you can wait. You can not necessarily. Well, you could dive in. I don't know. They could go Wrath or Leap. I'm just like literally theory crafting about what they could do. And we're gonna spend 5 minutes talking about this, and then they're not gonna do it. But so they could leap in and then wait until Sonya gets super low, and then Divine Shield into Whirlwind, get all of her HP back because you can't interrupt her, and she can get Life Funnel. Man, that'd be so cool. I want to see it play. God. All right, let's get to introducing these teams. On the blue side, spinning around super crazy, we have Tempo Storm. After winning that previous game, this game series is tied now 1-1. We have Dreadnought on Uther. Soldier's going to be playing Jaina. Glaurung on Diablo. Arthalon on Sonya. And KO is going to be playing Zagara.
Now, on the other side of the map, we do, in fact, have Tuark Iliad with Quibsy on Vala Panucci, on ETC Fierce, on Tassadar, Chubbs playing the Alfurion, and Trader rounding out on the Zeratul there, just immediately getting very aggressive in the frontline soldier. Does have a very terrifying little Protoss friend around the corner. Mr. Zeratul just trying to apply the aggression. The flips onto Panucci, able to dash forward, but he does get stunned out. The Ancient Spear over the wall to pick up that kill, and oh my goodness, what a quick start to this match.
And there's that little bit of experience buff. That probably would be about half of that previous patch, so cool little changes, giving them a slight EXP buff. Not the end of the world, of course. It's still more of a statement than anything else. All right. So let's just backtrack the theory crafting a little bit. Let's just assume no Divine Shield this game. What can we expect to see for initiation for fights? Do you think it'll just be a lockdown to allow APOC?
I mean,
or
I guess it's a disgusting wombo. Maw, Apocalypse, Heroic Leap, Divine Storm with Blizzard and Cone of Cold raining down and just ruining your day. That is terrifying. So they have options, and that's really scary.
Yeah, I think that is, with all the theory crafting, as cool as all of that sounds, very possible that it's just going to be that crazy wombo combo, like you mentioned, with the leap.
They don't even need Apocalypse if they don't want it, because Lightning Breath can work out. So
You're right.
This composition is very cool. Soldier in a rough spot, but the slow is going to be enough. They're going to be able to turn and blow up Trader, and this body blocking onto Chubbs. The stun cover from Uther, the Shadow Charge, picking up yet another kill. 3 kills to nil this early in the game, and the Shrines have just spawned.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad time for Chubbs to get caught out of position. With these temples spawning, they're going to take the aggression onto the middle one to start. Oh, they're actually going to soak both at once. They have to be careful, though. These are the 2 heroes, the top lane, or in the top temple here, that don't have the huge mobility options.
Well, KO is getting caught a bit out of position. The slow coming out from that Blizzard to try to help peel. The actual, the AoE from this NPC provided them actually a pretty nice little pocket of spacing that actually benefited them quite a bit. Now, I like the roots coming down on the Glowering, but they've been used a bit early, and if they rotate up with this aggression, there's the Hydra coming out. This is actually a situation that I think is advantageous considering the composition of Tempo Storm in this situation.
Amplified healing for Uther. It's like part of your build is being sort of realized in over 5 games or so.
I like it. As long as every talent that I have in my build is picked up on different builds, my build has been picked up in some way.
Okay. I see.
That's how it works.
That's kind of strange logic, but sure.
Chubbs just getting blown up. That's the power of Jaina and Zagara, and it's going to be the 4th kill of the game, forcing them off. But the middle temple, we do see that the final shots went off in favor of Tuark, but I believe that's pretty much all they got there, because it looks like Arthon decided to rotate to the bottom to try to capitalize on the experience and push that level lead as far forward as possible.
Absolutely. So we can expect to see the next set of temples, which is actually just going to be bottom. That will spawn in about 5 minutes. So once again, just pay attention to the rotations for the team and where the night camp or bruiser camps will be captured at what time, etc. Just see if they can get a little bit of split pushing going on. But right now, really solid level lead for Temple Storm. They've got this 5-kill lead moving forward. They're going to hit level 7, and that's I mean, they might be able to stall out enough. Well, not stall enough, but if they soak well enough, they might have level 10. Actually, no, I don't think it's going to happen. But they're going to be very close, and that's going to put a lot of risk on Tuark for trying to capture that bottom.
It's going to make it very difficult, and Tuark does manage to pick up some Giants. Typically, we do see Bruisers picked up as another option, just kind of that top lane pressure, while everyone is putting their eyes on that bottom temple. But we'll see what happens in this game. But that 5-kill advantage is rather significant at this point in time. And Trader just getting eyes on, revealing that they are in fact picking those up and going to rotate down to his allies.
Actually, Glowering missing the flip, the overpower to try and catch one of the members of Tuark out of position. Not quite. And actually just providing a little bit of cover fire for these Giants. 2 members having to hearth back. They're actually just trying to time this out. So that everyone's going to be at full HP for that bottom temple.
Now, Dread, he's thinking about that level 7 talent. He's got Amplified at 4, which is already a bit out of the norm. Typically, we see a number of things. I guess Protective Shield would probably be the more
maybe
common.
Clairvoyance or Cleanse, something to that effect. But now he also has the slow on stun. Now there's a lot of options that Uther can take at level 7.
And if there's a map where you'd get it, I would say it's this, and Burden of Guilt
has
been picked up. So that is the new talent, just providing the additional aggression for the team. I mean, you already have Sonya and Diablo, and you have 3 seconds of slow after being stunned out. Puts you in a bad spot.
I'm so excited for level 10. You have no idea. I want this theory crafting of mine to pan out. We do have the bottom temple Arthlon in a good position. Trader just sort of waiting it out, perhaps seeing if he ends up taking too much damage, might be able to go in to snipe to get this kill. Still, though, it's a difficult position for 2Arc to try to funnel through.
Yeah. And, I mean, they're down a full level. And look at this. They back out, they tap the well, and they're going to re-engage. They're saying, look, let's just top it off and kill them. And they're just rushing on forward. Chubbs, the healer, is their target. Panucci is very low. The Hydra just marching in. The Blizzard connecting with multiple targets. Glaurung is quite low on his end, but it's not going to matter as they blow up Zeratul. Chubbs is in a bad place.
Yeah, he's not getting out of there. They just went in, and the amount of CC that Tempo Storm had available to them between Hammer of Justice, between Shadow Charge and Overpower, between the Ancient Spear, it was just too much. They got backed right off of that, and with the extra, the lead. Oh yes, yes. Okay, I'm going to be paying attention to the 13 and 16 talents to see if we perhaps see Life Funnel and the extended duration on Whirlwood, but. Man, that could be cool.
It's not the ultimate wombo. Yes, they did go for Lightning Breath, and that's the cool thing. There's so many options that synergize with each other in different ways. And this is probably one of the more aggressive options in the sense that you have more damage, but that the Divine Shield used on either Diablo, that Sonya, to provide just the immunity to any kind of stuns coming her way so she can get those heals with Whirlwind. So stoked to see this unfold.
I know. It's really awesome. And actually, it looks as though they have a...
Oh my goodness. Now, they didn't manage to actually get the steal there. They were off by a few frames, and Glaurung will end up paying with his life.
Nope, the shield.
Oh.
He has enough souls to revive himself, but they might actually be able to provide another cover fire. They're blocking him? Not quite. He should be able to get out just barely. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So shield, I mean, just coming into play, and we can just check the cooldown on that.
Yep.
It's so very
it's
short.
Pretty short,
70 seconds.
That actually happens to time out pretty well with Leap. Oh!
No,
Illuminati.
It's a ha.
Yeah, sorry.
Jeez. You'd think you'd play that if you knew how to say the battle cry. Well, level 10 being picked up here for 2Arc Iliad, and they are going with the Archon, the Stage Dive, the Strafe, the Tranquility, and of course, Void Prison.
They took them in order. Did you see that? As you were reading down, they kept taking it was funny.
Convenient.
Yes. Actually, Soldier just... that was pretty dangerous, actually. Well, I think they had eyes that ETC was top lane, so not a lot of CC that would have been available, but still. Checking to see if those Giants were being taken. Indeed, they were. And they're opting to clean those up very quickly. Man, I just want a team fight to happen right now so I can see all this pan out. But Tempo Storm is pretty well on their way to level 13, and that is quite a bit ahead of 2Arc. So they have to be careful. I think there should be another set of temples spawning. Yes, there they are. And that's going to be bottom and top. So they're going to be splitting up the team. I think ETC is in very good position to capitalize on the top one and stage dive down if needed. I think we will see that Arthlon will probably rotate down to assist the rest of his team as he doesn't have that huge mobility.
Yeah, I mean that's the advantageous position of having the ETC on a map like this. And Quibsy just getting bullied into the corner. The VP is used defensively. That's 3 members of Tempo Storm within that Void Prison. Maw only connected with Trader, and the Lightning Breath is completely whiffed. Now, Heroic Leap going in. Quibsy has been healed up significantly at this point in time, and there is that stage dive coming in finally. But Trader getting flipped. Shadow Charge not available. Damage coming out, but is it enough? No, he gets to safety, forcing Glaurung back. This is very close. A bit of sloppiness on the initial initiation, and a Divine Shield does come out onto KO, but Arth not going to be so lucky.
I think once that Divine Shield was thrown down, I think they probably should have backed up, and they're realizing this now. A lot of their resources sort of have been spent at that point, and their ability to re-engage that fight was becoming pretty much slim to none. They did end up paying with Sonya for that fight. They are going to get the leg up to start taking and capitalizing on the top temple, but not before 2Arc having huge control of this bottom. They're going to rush in. They're going to take a fort.
Yeah. Like you said, there's just some overlapping. The Maw hit one target. It stopped the Lightning Breath from even attacking that one target it could hit, and it just didn't pan out. But they didn't really lose a whole lot. They just lost that bottom temple. They fall back. They pick up these bruisers. They do still have a level advantage, and they're sitting on the top temple, but they will be contested very soon. And they only have, well, no, their cooldowns are actually so low. It seems like they're going to have the Water Elemental, Lightning Breath, Heroic Leap, even the Devouring Maw, and they're going to have all their heroics available for this fight.
which will point to them having a very nice defense for this top temple. It looks as though 2ARC isn't even going to bother contesting, and it's smart of them to realize what they're capable. Wow, okay. Arthon leaping in well ahead of the rest of his team. Was it too early? Chubb's actually quite low. Glaurung getting in there, and the Void Prison is able to lock him out, and a lot of the targets were not really able to catch the damage. Chubb's hoping to stay alive.
Not gonna happen. So yeah, that was a lot of damage. That's what happens when they all follow up. Even Sonya just boldly leaping in there. That's the kind of flexibility you get, the safety you get when you have a Divine Shield follow-up coming around the corner.
Very, very good point, and they're going to go back up to the top lane to finish taking the rest of this temple. Yeah, taking aggressive Giants if they can. They've earned it. They picked up a couple kills in that last fight.
Aftershock is going to make that Sonya so much more aggressive, and we see the From the Shadows, the increased range on that Shadow Charge of Diablo, so he can now aggress from so much further away. The Strafe being used, he could try to interrupt that. The Maw finding nothing. Panucci being picked off body block, dashing to safety, and oh no, Glaurung he just needs those heals before he can reinitiate.
Arthon was applying a lot of pressure from the top lane, forcing Vala to be back a little bit.
I'm actually so excited about this aggression that we're seeing out of the Sonya player. The damage is real. They've just dished it out. They picked up a couple kills, and they are rotating on back. Right now, the kills are 11-1 in favor of Tempo Storm.
Huge. Yeah, they're really making this aggressive play style with the Sonya leaps. And the stage dive, is Soldier going to be caught out of position? That is Jaina. Don't know if she has sprint 5 seconds off cooldown, so she could find herself in a really bad spot. Quibsy actually being the one to die first. Perhaps not the aggression and the initiation they were looking for. Panucci getting flipped with the Shadow Charge from Glaurung. In this game, it's just really been all Tempo Storm.
Yeah, it's just this aggression is looking... It looks like they just don't know the answer. I mean, how often do you play against Divine Shield? It's not a factor you think about. I guess it's in the end, it's not that different from Ancestral, but you can still stun that Ancestral target, right? It's just allowing the Sonya to do whatever she pleases.
Yeah, and that's you know, we talked about that before, theory crafting a little bit. That's her weakness. She has that invulnerability for a couple seconds. She can get a ton of work done, and
3 seconds is a long time in a team fight.
It really is. It really, really is. And I can't stress this enough. I love that these teams spent some actual time theory crafting what's something weird that we can bring to this table for the tournament that will throw teams that we play against just completely off guard and leave them at the point like you were saying. They don't know how to deal with it. If you jump into a series and you get something is thrown your way, you don't know how to deal with it. One, that's going to put you on tilt, but you don't have any time to theory craft a response for it.
Right. You have literally moments, and that's about it. And what a better time to do it here. I mean, here in the ESL playoffs, they've been competing for these spots over the last 7 weeks, and now all the prize money, the largest prize pool in the history of Heroes of the Storm, up for grabs. That's the time to bust out the 6 strats.
Benediction picked up at level 16 for Uther. That is the cooldown reduction. He can pop this activatable before he throws down his next ability and reduces the cooldown by 10 seconds. Also the mana cost. It's like a mini rewind.
It's 2 stuns. I mean, the cooldown of Hammer Adjuster is 10 seconds.
Plus
so that
with the
can
Burden
let
of
you,
Guilt.
Yeah, that's actually really exciting. So very, very happy to see that being picked up. And now that Nerves of Steel being picked up by Sonya, she's just going to be even harder to be killed.
Yeah.
And in the recent patch, they made it so she can utilize this while within her Whirlwind. So giving her a little bit more flexibility, survivability, slight buffs added to Sonya in that regard.
Both teams level 16. We have the Blood for Blood, a little bit more survivability for Tassadar and Vala. The imposing presence, who are they looking to deal with? I'm not really so sure I agree with that.
Opposing?
Yeah.
It's Archon and Vala. I think that is enough to warrant it. But, well, Glaurung will be caught by those roots, taking a lot of damage, but the team is here and ready to peel. And if 2ARC oversteps those bounds, I mean, they've seen it happen once, they've seen it happen twice. That heroic leap can kind of do work.
And the last time that it was used, it was so far ahead of the rest of the team, but completely made it work.
Yeah.
Like, and so that just shows you, like, okay, wherever Sonya is, we have to be incredibly careful because they probably felt they were safe based on where the rest of the team's position was, and it turns out they weren't. So now this is leaving them on the back foot, and you can see how pensively they're playing.
Just taking a look at the stats here while the teams are just kind of pacing out each other, we can see that Zagara has just been topping those charts on the side of Tempestorm. Tuark, Vala just staying true, and the heals for Malf and Uther are both very close. I mean, all of these, I mean, even this Sonya, I mean, she's dished out so much damage in this game.
Absolutely. And a lot of them were actually clumped up. I was curious to see if we were going to see that leap initiation Arthon a little bit further back from the team, and we still might see a fight brew here over these temples.
It seems very likely. I mean, it's getting to the point where there's a keep down on the side of Tuark, and they need to make something happen now, or it could be lights out. And this is, I mean, it's 1-1. It's not match point quite yet, but having that one game advantage is quite large.
Such passiveness. I'm not really quite sure what they're waiting for. The Roots will zone out Arthon for the start of this fight, and the VP going down, Glaurung trying to get inside of it. And there's the leap, actually without the rest of his team to follow up.
Yeah, but there is a big Maw, and we see the Lightning Breath just dishing up the damage. The Divine Shield being used. Trader falling very low, but Tranquility is doing what it does best. It's healing up the entire team so well. But the burst of that Sonya will be enough to pick up Trader and Zeratul. That's so much damage that has been lost, but Soldier on his back foot, very low, using the slow to just pace the best he can. Glaurung has to mount up to leave. This is a full-on retreat out of Tempestorm as they have 2 members down.
Very good point. We did see the Divine Shield being thrown onto Diablo as he was quite low, casting that Lightning Breath. He would have died, obviously, in any other type of situation. That wasn't enough to keep him alive. And they were able to dish out enough damage onto Zeratul to kill him. But the follow-up, they just overextended a little bit too much. The Maw was pretty well placed, but of course Sonya, without that Divine Shield, probably overextended, passed into the back line of the enemy team. Was probably expecting to have a little bit more survivability. But of course, the Divine Shield going on to a different target ends up falling.
And just like that, the game is completely even in terms of levels.
Yeah.
Those 2 members still down inside of Tempestorm. They're just trying to bully Tuark off the temples to buy time. But Tuark has gotten nearly all of the charges here on the middle temple. Glaurung dashing forward, just forcing them off. It's just a stall tactic. He's completely by himself with that. But if the Divine Shield was necessary, it is available. And they're just going to continue to rotate. They now have all 5. They do finish off those charges. In this top temple, sitting at half ammo is going to be the opportunity to pick up a Soldier. Yeah. Oh no! He's completely out of position. Gets blown up immediately, and it's a terrible start to the fight for Tempestorm.
Stripe is being thrown from Quibsy, hitting some of the most. The Maw is hitting 3 members. I think this might be the time for Arthon to leap in. Does he use it? No, he already used it in this fight. Okay, the Void Prison going down, locking out 2 members, and this might be the turn that Dreadnought is actually having to use Divine Shield on himself to keep himself alive, and the stage dive to get the slow to clean up the rest of this fight. This is a huge turn for Tuark.
Yeah, I mean, just losing Jaina in the start there put them in such a bad situation. Glaurung, he should have souls. Yes, he's sitting at 150. Will bolt out of the situation, and he's going to get away.
What?
Kind of ridiculous, but Glaurung's going to be all right, not having to use those souls. That's a nice win for him. The rest of this ammunition will go to the side of Tuark, and right now, I mean, Tempestorm, they're not going to lose a keep quite yet, but they have lost their advantage, and 20 has been hit for both teams.
Yeah, considering that the kills are 15-5 and it's actually this close and the momentum is so heavily in Tuark's favor, like they've really stepped it up these past 2 fights in terms of dealing with the Maw and just sort of punishing whichever member of Tempestorm doesn't get the Divine Shield. That's really what it's coming down to.
Let's talk about level 20, Kubi.
Yeah.
There's 2 resurgences.
Oh, that's a good point.
On Tempestorm. They have now received redemption on Arthas, and it's a 3-minute cooldown for a full respawn after your ghost expires, and of course Soul sitting there on Diablo. So their level 20 fighting potential, 2 of them can die and come back into the fight. Especially in defensive positions, this is going to be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, and we may see them get a little bit more aggressive than we're used to. Also, the Ignore Pain, which is essentially the Sonya version of Hardened Shield. Those 3 heroes can really just get into the fight and put a lot more aggression on than you would expect to see. And then there's also 3 Bolts of the Storm, so the mobility is quite a bit higher. We may see more what would look like bad positioning from some of these heroes in the team fights because of this extra mobility. Now let's take a look at the 2 Arc side because they have also hit level 20. We have the improved Archon, 2 Bolts of the Storm for ETC, and Vala, Storm Shield for Malfurion, and Rewind, of course, on Zeratul.
Well, these teams, they know this boss is a huge point of contention. KO just getting that creep spread that gives him mobility, it gives him healing and vision, and Glaurung decides to initiate. Bolt is used by Quibsy, getting himself to safety, and there is the stage dive going on in. The heroic leap, they're trying to find Quibsy, blow him up quickly. They're not able to do that, and Arthlon is now forced to get shielded. The Maw picking up 2 heroes, but where is the follow-up? Heroic leap has already been used. Backline, the water elemental, and the damage coming up from Soldier, but not going to be enough, and 2 bombs coming out from Zeratul.
Still have Divine Shield off cooldown, but there's no other way for Tempo Storm to get into this fight, and with the HP pool that 2Arc has, I think that they can get as aggressive as they want. They could opt to take this boss even, I think, because of their fight potential still available to them. All right.
Yeah, I like this call. They're backing up, they're tapping the wells, they're going to the temples, but another thing to consider, though, I mean, Sonya's going to be very formidable with the Ignore Pain, and she does have that off cooldown still.
Yep, this is a very good point. And also the Divine Storm, now that everyone is back up to full HP, things have shifted a little bit. There's still that Divine Shield potential in the team fights, and basically they're back up to full HP, and there's no heroes or heroics available for 2Arc, so they have to be careful.
Now, structurally, Temple Storm is well in the lead, so by just trading temples, this is advantageous. The second keep just went down, and Tempo's still sitting on all 3 keeps, so they are happy to just trade temples, which is why we see 2Arc rotating up. They want to save that stage dive, so they just walk up. Heroically only connecting the Quibsy. They're trying to make that the priority target, but the strafe is going up in full effectiveness. There is the healed Ice Block going off. Trader is very low, but the Lightning Breath not quite reaching enough.
And it looks as though they got a lot of effectiveness out of that Lightning Breath, but is it going to be enough to pick up a kill to dash forward from the spear onto Panucci? He is actually going to end up falling, and now Quibsy is out of position, having to use the Bolt of the Storm and the Vault to get out. Soldier actually getting caught on the edge, and they will end up trading out a couple kills. Furious D caught in the Void Prison with the other members of Temple Storm.
Where's the Maw? Oh, that is a massive Maw. KO has to bolt on back. The shield's coming out.
They gotta back up.
But the damage isn't there. There are no heals. This Malfurion is just paying off. There's so much healing capable. But Trader gets blown up, so the trade's available. Dreadnought in the front line. Remember, these two do have that resurgence available.
These guys were supposed to be the first ones to die, and now they're the only ones left in this fight. We did see that, of course, KO backed up. He had to bolt out of that previous fight. Dreadnought and Glaurung really just trying to make this escape as valuable as possible, stalling to get the rest of the team up. But we have these 2 temples still available. Like you mentioned before, trade is super valuable for Temple Storm because they are so far ahead in the structure. So we'll have to see. Yes, I would fully expect that Temple Storm would put all of their aggression onto one of these. And Quibsy's so low. Must have Bolt off cooldown. Yes, he does.
All right, well, that top keep will end up falling from Temple Storm if 2Arc is able to just sit there long enough. Quibsy just going to force them back. They took a few of those shots, and they're just starting to unload, and they will actually end up being forced off. 2Arc, if they can sit on it for just a moment longer, yes, they're going to get the final shots from that temple, and that is good for them. Now, it went from structures being well in favor of Temple Storm to that really trading over, and the game is dead even in terms of those structures.
That's what I was just about to mention. Actually, even a slight EXP lead for 2Arc. I can't believe this was such a close game. We usually don't see games that are this close on Sky Temple just because of the map mechanic. It kind of lends itself for slightly more snowball-y style maps, but these guys are just trading blows with every single team fight.
They really are, and this is so back and forth. So much on the line in this match, and just looking at these talents again, I mean, we haven't seen that resurgence come into play because 2Arc is respecting that potential that is available, and they're focusing on the other targets. They know that if they kill Uther, he's just going to come back into that fight. Diablo, same deal. And the initiation going under these bruises, very aggressive posture by Temple Storm. Looks like it's not going to be, detrimental to their strategy right now.
Other thing that we should mention about Redemption, actually, I hadn't really thought about this, but you respawn back in the fight. In the fight. So while it kind of seems like a resurgence of the Storm too, but like it can also be punished.
True. In that last fight, if he got picked up at the end, they would have just burned his cooldown, essentially. Right. Yeah. So definitely something worth considering. Now the boss, this is the best way to throw the game. Oracle being used immediately, just revealing their position. Boss gets aggroed from that fire stomp of Diablo, and they are just gonna back on up.
You say throw, Jake, but it also could be the best way to win the game.
It's true. If you can provoke your enemy team into it, it can do huge things.
We've seen that done time and time again, and I think they just decided.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the game's ending in the next minute. Wait. No, I mean just because.
No. But they're going
gonna dive.
for core. They're diving. They're diving. They are They're just slowly. Oh, there's the wave. There's the wave. Do they know? They should know. As soon as this wave passes, Temple Storm is going in. They have to be curious. Where are they? Where are they? They're hiding in the bush. They're hiding in the bush.
Hearthing.
The second they see it, there's the hearth going out. Temple Storm is on the core. The core is at 100%.
backing up?
They force a back, and Temple Storm
can't
is
be
trying to
hesitant
find them out
about
of
this.
position. No, they're just trying to find them out of position. This was all their plan from the beginning. Heroic Leap gets stopped mid-air, if I'm not mistaken. Where is she? Oh yeah, she was in the sky, and Ma does only connect with Trader. Now they force Soldier way back. Dreadnought is getting very low. Remember, he has that Resurgence Storm Shield, Divine Shield going off on Arthlon. Soldier is the last remaining damage, and Temple Storm looks like they may have lost. Now they are in full-on retreat. This Ghost will respawn. They're even putting the roots down in prediction of that, and Dreadnought is going to buy as much time as he can, but he will end up falling once again. Now this is going to signal the rest of the team to go and sit on the temples as long as possible. This keep doesn't have much health left, but this is so close. No, Soldier.
I think that's actually probably it. I don't really see. Yes, we do have Glaurung in the top temple, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that these two temples
I think you're
will
right.
be enough to just kill the core. And since the one that Glaurung is occupying at the moment won't be enough to kill the core, I think that's actually just a kind of a... Whoa, Quibsy, though. If he gets leaped on, this could be... Oh, no, it's not quite off cooldown yet. Another 10 seconds. Quibsy realizing it, having to back up.
But the shields are about to expire. The Giants ended up falling, and yeah, the shields are about to be expired here. But look at this, the rotation onto Arthlon. Arthlon is going to get blown up. Heroic Leap not going to be quite enough. That shield, the hardened shield going in. Oh, they're going in onto Quibsy. They do trade 1 for 1. Diablo does not have souls this time around, and there is Trader with the reverse dance as they do win the game.
I was like,
I didn't realize the game ended.
I was like, is he?
Yeah, that was a bit of a
That's funny.
mistake on my end.
But yeah, those two temples were absolutely more than enough to capitalize on that. So almost enough to catch up there with the leap, and it was had they not lost that person, but still just they would have probably lost so much health in that core. Not quite enough, and that is going to put 2-Arc 2-1.
Yeah. They
this
take
series.
a nice defense at the end there. They saw what Temple was doing.
Yep.
They defended properly, and that VP was it changed the fight. I mean, heroically went in.
It did.
Sonya was actually
Gives you time to move.
Her frames were in the air,
Yeah.
and they predicted where she was going to fall, and they were able to dodge entirely. So
Yep.
heroic leap was whiffed. That was such a big part of Temple Storm's strategy, and it was all downhill from there. Because during that VP, Jaina got almost blown up entirely. She bolted back, and she was out of the fight, and the rest of the team almost all fell during that. So well played by 2-Arc.
Yeah, it was just the hesitation.
Yeah.
They had a plan. They're like, okay. I mean, they had more than enough time to talk it out. Like, is this the right idea?
Right.
Should we be doing this? They committed to it, and you have to expect as soon as you get seen that they're going to hearth back. So, I mean, what was just a bit of communication, not making the right decision to go in and then back up. As soon as they saw the stage dive going, they're like, all right, we have to get out of here.
That very SMG style, the rush to the core, used to work a lot, but against these top teams, it's
They're well
much
aware.
less effective.
I mean, they have to be thinking 2-Arc does. Oh, we haven't seen them for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very possible that they're trying to set up for a rush to the core like that,
Yeah.
and they responded appropriately. So
Yeah.
nicely done to 2-Arc, picking themselves up the second win of this series. I think we're gonna go try to get that lobby set up for game number 4. You guys stick around, and we'll be back in just a few.
All right, guys, welcome back here to the ESL Major League Americas. I'm Solid Jake.
I'm Kubi.
Going into Game 4.
Game 4. This is match point for 2-Arc. Iliad to have a repeat upset.
Upset. Yeah, well, yeah, in theory, I mean, Temple Storm, a lot of people do consider them to be the best in the world. They've been very consistent for months and months and months. But 2-Arc, they've been training hard, and they've had, a good amount of time to study their opponents. And that's one of those things you have to consider. Like, just they know if there's any team that is known and understood, it's Temple Storm because they're the target. Everybody has their eyes on them.
Very good point. I also got to say kudos to 2-Arc. I'd say over the past month and a half, maybe most improved team.
I would have to agree. Coming at the start of the season, not a single one of us that would be sitting in the caster chair would say 2-Arc, they're going to be in the playoffs. And then they nearly were the second seed coming into playoffs.
Almost first.
Almost first at one point. Yeah, they had the potential to be first. And, I mean, man, they've gotten so good over the last several weeks.
They really, really have. Next map, Black Hearts Bay.
Look at this. They're banning out Zeratul. The Void Prison had such a big impact on so many of those fights.
It did.
And they're respecting that.
And they have the capability, because Rhaegar has not been banned out, which is banned out in the 2 previous maps. So now they're saying, okay, we can grab Rhaegar. Probably not going to see Uther. Maybe, I don't know. With the Divine Shield, it's, I guess.
Okay, but they scoop up Zagara.
Yeah.
Is this ETC task? Is this just going to be a very clean boom boom? Or do they prioritize something like Jaina? Now, Jaina...
Oh, I would think Jaina will be picked up. They seem to be, a lot of teams seem to be really enjoying and making so much use out of that new damage output that she has. All of her base abilities got significant buffs to the damage output.
And she does make a little bit more. If Zeratul's off the table, maybe she does make even more sense considering that. But, wow. So this is the first game where Rhaegar was not banned out today? Or no, he was played one game today. I think he was banned out every other game.
Yep. That's exactly it. But has been first picked both times.
Mm-hmm. That is the power of the hero. I mean, the wolf life is a good life to live. It is a good life to live. And there is the Jaina ETC, still a big option. Tassadar up there, but yes, they go for the cow himself. 100% grade A beef.
All right, ETC, yes, probably. Is it fair to say he's probably the best tank in the game? Yeah. In terms of overall ability to fit into so many team positions, or just team compositions, with Stitches getting nerfed as well, I think that's pretty fair to say. Best tank, best warrior right now.
Yeah.
Rhaegar, best healer. So I guess if you look at it from that perspective, Temple Storm's up there. But
and Jaina, best mage.
Best mage. Only mage? Best mage.
She does have a massive amount of burst potential, though, and it definitely shows, and especially with the changes they've made to where her damage is applied to structures, grave golems, all that good stuff with the passive, the trait. But look at the control so far. Maw, roots, the mouth healing is real.
Yep. Very good point. We could see the Maw plus Rain of Vengeance. I think that's a combo that actually has been working. I want to say, was it the very first game or the second game?
I think it was the first game of the series. It's very good, but what would complement this the most? Now, Stitches does make a fair
It's pretty
amount
neutral.
of sense.
Yeah, it's still neutral.
And yeah, Tassadar is about as neutral as it gets. Tempo could very well pick up right wing.
Yes, but there's also no immediate need for it. None of those heroes really require polying, right? Not like to the extent that you need it for Illidan, that you would need it for. Well, I mean, it did some work for Sonya. I mean, so there's no one that's really in your face just yet.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Vikings yet. I feel like this is a
Black Hearts. That's a very good point.
Yeah, I feel like this is a relatively good time to bust out the Vikings. We've seen Gargantuan used relatively successfully, but I don't.
Last time they picked Nazebo ahead of Tempo Storm, they retaliated with Diablo, and of course that warrior slot is still open.
Okay, stuns very low. Lily with Jugs would make for a very difficult situation. Now they could easily pick up Diablo and just have that shadow charge, but it's still on the table.
The
having double
threat of
support.
Diablo does really limit their options.
But if they pick up Diablo, I don't know. They have no they have no damage. This is interesting. It's tough. It's a very tough call. There's a lot of different ways that Tempo Storm could go about this game, and they just have to consider all the options that 2ARC has. And Lily becomes very appealing in the sense that they have no real stuns right now, but then Diablo's a response.
Okay.
So do you see Zebo? Because again, no stuns. So Ravenous, although it's seen changes, is still quite good, but it doesn't mean Gargantuan's out of the picture.
Yeah, it makes sense right now, based on what 2ARC has. But there's still that Diablo on the table that they have shown that they will counterpick into. Who is the final grab? Do you think they need more damage, or should they try double support? I think damage.
Tyrande, like, doesn't have the most synergy, but she also isn't the worst here. I prefer the idea of damage. I would personally really like to see Vikings.
Yeah.
It's funny how quickly falls develop, but I really think it's going to be Tychus. Just the laser drill on this map is quite good.
Yeah, we have seen that used in the... So there's a lot of options. I mean, we're sort of running through what damage potential is available, and...
Okay, they want the middle of the road. Okay, I mean, this is why I was talking about Lily. Rhaegar as a lone support is fine to a certain extent, but typically you see him with Tassadar or Tyrande.
Yeah,
or
his sustained healing... Obviously, the Ancestral is very good and super impactful in fights, but the sustained healing over the course of a longer fight with really... Chain healing it's good for the group, but not really so much over time. And I think it makes a lot of sense to have that additional healing ward, and also the Elune's... Is it Elune's Grace? What's the name of the heal itself?
I believe it is Elune's Grace, yeah.
Okay.
Good job.
I'll take it. Especially because it's support. I'll take it. Yeah. All right, what's the follow-up? Did we actually see that Diablo?
I think so. Diablo makes the most sense. Muradin could be fine. They need a tank, no matter how you look at it. It's got to be...
Or Tyrael.
They do like Tyrael, but I don't know that he makes sense in this situation.
Their composition is so neutral. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, but the opposing team, like, yes, you could get in to blow up that Jaina, but they don't necessarily have a lot of blow up to follow it up. So yeah, Diablo makes more sense. I mean, it gives you that Apocalypse as a threat. Could force out Gargantuan. Gargantuan is a very different, much more viable spell, and we've seen Tempo is more than willing to use it.
Right, and again, they think they had the option to force it in the previous... Was that game number 1? Yes. They had the option to force it, I think, because the level advantage was to Tempo Storm at that time, so... Or I think it was the other way around. They saw that APOC was taken, and they're like, okay, we have to take Arcane.
Yes.
Right, so...
But still, I know, it's definitely been something they've been playing with, improving, working on. The Gargantuan in general has a bit more control. The slam that the Gargantuan has is now activatable. You press R, it's on a 4.5 second cooldown, and you can time that to be a little bit more impactful.
Yep. No real setup for it? Yeah. I don't really foresee Dance being taken. I was thinking before they had Maw, which they could throw the Gargantuan down, because the burst damage of the Gargantuan is like a lot higher than it used to be, and his base HP is lower. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out.
We will indeed. It looks like the players are mostly readied up.
This is match point.
We no longer have a ready up count.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
It's so sad right now.
Match point, Jake. Match point.
It is. It is.
Match point.
This is big.
This
for
is crazy.
2ARC.
I wouldn't have predicted this.
But this is a map that Tempo has shown a lot of resilience on. They are quite good on Blackheart's Bay. They want to take this to game number 5. Let us know in the chat who you guys are rooting for. Tempo Storm, 2ARC, both of these teams.
1s and 2s. Are we doing that?
No.
One for Tempo Storm, 2 for 2ARC? 2 for 2ARC? Yes! Oh, you didn't even know. Don't shake your head at me. Don't shake. You know how smart that is. Oh, love it.
Okay. Well,
like,
Blackheart's Bay match point for 2ARC, like you mentioned, loading on up here. Kubi is grinning.
So pleased. We got a bag of flips tomorrow. 2 for 2ARC. Yes. Best day of my life. All right, let's get to introducing these teams. On the blue side, we have to Arc Iliad. And playing for them, we have Furious D on Tassadar. Chubb's going to be playing Malfurion. Panucci on Diablo. Trader will be playing Zagara. And Quibsy on Vala.
Standing on that carpet.
Such balance. And ice heals?
Such
nice.
surfer, yeah. Well, on the other side of the map, we do have Tempo Storm with KO playing as Nazebo. We've got Soldier on Tyrande. It's going to be Glaurung on ETC. Dreadnought playing that Rhaegar, and Arthlon rounding it out on Jaina. They've got many pretty ladies on this team, and by many I mean 2. And we'll see if it works out for them.
So we do still see the reduced cooldown for Hunter's Mark. I don't know if the cooldown for Ranger, or Sentinel I should say, is really that something that's going to be taken that much more. We'll have to see as the meta develops, but that has been a tried and true staple, especially with ETC. If they're able to line up, it's a little harder with ETC after with the pass through and knockback from Face Melt to line that up to get the Tyrande Lunar Flare in there, but it can be done.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Pay attention, yeah.
What they want to do in this game. Now, Zebo presently sitting uncontested above.
Yeah.
This is giving them additional soak. They're actually managing to soak 3 lanes. The soak has actually been lost a little bit in the middle lane as well. So, Tuark, I guess they were hoping for Tempo to kind of overstep their balance, and the pressure from that Diablo in the front line can be real. Glaurung gets that heal. The healing word going down falls almost immediately, and Arthlon just trying to dish out that damage needs to be wary of those flips.
They had the stronger positioning. They will end up getting the 5 coins. And in the meantime, bottom lane, Trader setting himself up to potentially take that with the rotation from Arthlon, and KO might be enough to secure a retaliated 5 coins. Ooh, the Blizzard getting a ton of value.
It's a lot of damage, but there's now a 3v2 situation. Vala vaulting forward onto KO, gonna try to pick up that kill. The Hydra will be slowed nicely by Arthlon, allowing KO to back up. In terms of experience, Tuark has actually taken a very slight lead, just with forcing them back, missing some of that soak. And in terms of coins, we can see all 10 in their favor.
I was just about to mention that they do have the potential to get a very fast tournament, but actually the Lunar Flare and Hunter's Mark really on point to take out Zagara. That will catch them back up from that lost experience that we mentioned early game.
The Frail Gales, they hurt.
Frail Gales. Ah, jeez.
And at the turn-in, we do see Quibsy. He's trying to do it. The Sentinel will scare him back a little bit, and that's just going to be them continuing to posture. Now, Arthlon Soldier, they have that burst potential. The Hunter's Mark, Lunar Flare, and just the slow and damage in general provided by Jaina is rather terrifying. And then the top, we see the rotation on Furious D, Dimensional Shift being used. The Lunar Flare does connect, and that will be a kill.
That will be, yes. No Dimensional Shift in there to keep him alive. And now, Tempo Storm's looking very, very solid in this early game.
Oh, the rotation in the top going on to Panucci. Lunar Flare will pick up another kill. Those rotations are going to be scary, and it's just going to be force a slightly more defensive positioning on the side of Tuark. They are still sitting rather positive in the coin count.
Tempo Storm just waking up here. They just, gave himself a little bit of a slap in the cheeks and said, okay, hey, we're about to get sent to the losers bracket a lot earlier than we were expected. We need to bring it to Tuark. We'll bring it hard and fast.
Yeah, Papa Reynad just gave him those slaps on the cheeks to wake him up.
Said, hey, let's go. Bring it in there. So, that's going to be their strategy moving forward, I would imagine. The rotations so far have been solid and absolutely effective. Glaurung and Panucci, the 2 tanks trying to duke it out over the Watchtower right now.
Well, we do have Arth just kind of sitting there waiting for the turn-in attempt. He wants to make sure to blow up anyone that walks within his path, and he has his Frail Gale counterpart to help him out. I need to stop saying that. I'm not going to do just that.
I can't stop. But you're right, though. These 2 together, especially if the person trying to turn in the coins is unaware of their positioning, get hit by that Lunar Flare, you're dead.
This is very aggressive.
It is.
It is a 2 for 2. They have the capability. Fierce D sees them, but with the Lunar Flare missing, they now need to back up. Now KO is there to help zone. Chubbs has the roots. Arthlon pushing forward by himself. That Hydra going out. Now the roots have expired. Healing ward going down, and they do manage to pick up Chubbs. The heals here from Dreadnought, the healing ward in general. This will allow them to not only steal these giants, they picked up a kill. Very aggressive situation for them, but it's paying off.
I didn't expect any of that to transpire the way it did. Like you said, a very aggressive style of play. I thought for sure they were going to get punished for it right after the Lunar Flare missed. They had the rest of the rotations. Probably ended up giving up a bit of soak, but made up more than enough made up for it with the extra experience they got. We now have a 4-0 kill lead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a really nice zombie wall, providing that extra zoning needed to keep Malfurion out of that, and then just the damage they were able to throw onto him. So well done by that team. Furious D around the corner, just throwing down this nice, revealing his location, and that's just going to signal Arthlon to push on forward to pressure him on out.
Glaurung making an attempt to scare Furious D into using his dimensional shift. Not going to be the case here. And that will actually get him back into the fight with some heals. Glaurung perhaps a little bit overextended. Panucci trying to come in from the bottom of the barrels here to flip Glaurung maybe, and that's not going to happen.
Now Furious D trying to turn in those 2 coins. That'll put them at 5. He'll be successful in that endeavor, but Arthlon needs to be careful. Backing up.
Yeah, they got to back up. They're just lost a little bit too much health,
Yeah.
especially on Arthlon. No longer have that forward positioning, and KO will absolutely end up falling. That's a fair chunk of coins. And we now see...
That's a turn-in.
Yeah, they have 11 coins. Yep.
It is, yeah, and they already have 5 turned in. So, yeah, KO just overstayed his welcome a little bit, got caught out of position with the Zagara rotating up, just put him in a bad spot, and just the Diablo bullying is real.
Yeah, he has so much control over his base kit. Not to say that ETC doesn't either. Actually, I'd say probably these 2 heroes have, or warriors have the most like control in their base kit.
Just for
available
like,
yeah,
just for bullying your position.
So you got to respect them right out of the gate from level 1. They can have so much control over a team fight.
Now the levels are quite even, but the coins well in favor of the boys at Tuark, who are sitting at match point 2-1 here in this best of 5 series. And Arthlon, he's sitting on those 3 coins. I don't believe Tempestorm has actually turned in anything at this point in time.
Now Tuark had done enough damage to this mid wall to secure themselves a fort, seeing that fairly sizable EXP lead. And they're continuing to soak, pick up these mercenary camps. They're actually going to rotate back to take the bruisers. And they're going to set themselves up with a very nice position of map control.
Yeah, but there's the turn in from Dread. He had exactly 10 coins, turning those in, and they're putting this aggression on bottom. Trader, very low, ETC dashing forward. The slow coming out from Jaina will pick up another kill. 5-1 in favor of Tempestorm, and they're just going to settle for these bottom bruisers.
Yeah, that's actually going to catch them right back up. Both teams will probably be hitting level 10 very close within each other. Yeah, just about. And what do we expect to see from the Heroics? No crazy composition, so I would expect both of these to be pretty even. There are just predicting the APOC, and indeed they grabbed it from the Tuark side of things. So yeah, Gargantuan.
Yeah,
one more time.
I like it a lot, especially because of how easy of a follow-up that Apocalypse is to stop the Ravenous Spirit. And the Ravenous did see a few nerfs in this patch, so nicely done. Soldier just tapping that will to get nice and healed up, and it's now a slight experience advantage from the turn-in favor of Tempestorm.
Yes. Malfurion still given some thought. Does he want to take the silence or the heal? I imagine it would be the heal, considering that but he did take Enduring Growth.
He could give it up. It's within the realms of possibility.
Silence plus Maw and APOC.
It's really good.
Nah, not going to be the case
Okay.
here. We're going to see the Tranquility. Still, I think either of those would have probably been very nice choices, considering that he did go for the Enduring Growth. And opposite could go for the Life Seed at level 13 to get that sustained healing.
Now they're forcing the hand of Diablo to come down to this. They know the pressure over this tribute is real. There's a lot of coins on both sides, and losing a fight here could absolutely turn the game.
There will be a sizable advantage for whichever team ends up winning this fight or getting to turn in their coins. And that is going to be a stage dive from Glaurung to stop that.
And Glaurung just gets knocked on into that fight. Namah only picking up Soldier right now. Apocalypse followed up, did connect with our Nazeebo player who gets flipped on into the wrong side. Arthlon, the Ancestral, connecting at the last possible second, and everyone on Tempestorm is still alive somehow, some way. Trader gets hit by Lunar Flare. The shields come out at the last possible second, and Soldier is going to end up falling, but the rotation from Tempestorm isn't enough. Glaurung falls, 6 coins dropping to the ground. It looks like Tuark is going to be able to clean up this fight. I don't know if Jaina and Dreadnought can finish this fight off.
No, I don't think that they're going to have the sustain. I will say that even though the fight did not end up going in favor of Tempestorm, Gargantuan was doing a lot of work. They were just focusing on trying to lock out some of the other members of the team, focusing on who was coming out of that maw to blow them up. But all the while, Gargantuan was just dealing out a ton of damage. Wouldn't surprise me to see if he was highest damage. Yes, he is, by a good chunk of damage for Tempestorm. That's probably that Gargantuan doing all that work. But still, the lockdown with the APOC into maw, very nicely executed still. Not over yet, and experience is pretty close.
Yeah, it is rather even, but right now, I mean, sitting on more members alive, they have that second turn into the game, and they sold a lot of coins. So that puts them in a rather advantageous position. Now, I like the fact that Arthlon immediately started rotating around, picking up those pirate camps to try to remedy the situation to the best of his ability. But looking at the coin counts, I mean, they really...
Both teams more than enough to turn in.
Yeah.
I think. No, not quite enough for
There's
2ARK.
13 inside of tempo, so they have enough, and 2ARK is well aware of this. They're trying to turn that in. The Oracle revealing his position. A nice zombie wall just to zone Diablo out, but they are going to have to back on up.
That's the cooldown reduction for the APOC is just about up. So that's that 20-second reduction is doing work. It's actually, Tempo Storm's going to be aware of that, and they can't exactly initiate into that. They're going to get another turn in.
Yeah, that is rough, and this chest spawning. Now, Tempo's got vision on the bottom chest. They were able to collect the top chest. Quibsy sitting on those 7 coins. That is enough for this turn-in. And unless they are able to stall something miraculous, the Sentinel will connect.
Miraculous. Flies in. The Owl more than enough to stop it. Are they going to be able to pull that off again? Not quite. Don't have the cooldown reduction, of course. So
That's the
final turn-in.
That's the final fort of Tempo Storm as well.
Yeah.
So this is pushing them back into those keeps. Not a single fort has fallen on the side of 2ARK because only one turn-in has been achieved for Tempo Storm.
So I got to say, this map is well known for having a very strong PvE element to it. It's kind of snowbally at times. Tempo Storm needs to be aware of this, but how are they going to apply their typical quote-unquote comeback factor that they're so well known for? Like, how are they going to execute this thing?
Experience-wise, though,
it's fairly close.
it's pretty close. Yeah. So
the pressure structure-wise that they have is huge.
now, they nearly caught Tempo out of position. Stage dive was used by ETC, so Glaurung had to use stage dive to get out of the roam coming out, and that's going to signal them to go straight to the boss because they bullied him back. They're going for the boss. They could turn in. That's the safe call. Turn in, let them take the boss and defend, and that's what they're going to do.
And they do have quite a few coins. And up until this point, they've had difficulty sort of having control of that middle part of the map. So it would take something like 2ARK capping the boss for them to get, a couple, 6 seconds to themselves so that they can make this turn. And still, the boss is going to do a lot of work, something that Tempo Storm needs to respond to. All the while, 2ARK can continue roaming around the map, taking camps, taking aggressive camps. There's some pirate camps on Tempo Storm side of things, so they can continue to collect those coins. And at some point, Tempo Storm is going to have to really make a stance somewhere and try to get back this map control.
Yeah, and that point is coming up pretty soon. Level 16, I mean, there's a half-level lead advantage for 2ARK, and they're just continuing to roam around, collect those coins, collect those mercenaries, and just controlling the map. That's that PvP element you mentioned. Triple Sprint was picked up at 13 for Tempo Storm, and it's going to allow them to have a lot of safety in getting away from things like Diablo, but if the root flip is on point, I don't know how much it's going to matter at the end of the day.
And Finucci is turning in his coins in mid, although I don't think they have enough. No, not quite enough for a turn in. They're just trying to get in what they have.
Yep.
Still, they could, if they take a team fight here, that's even more aggression that they could have onto these giants. It looks as though Tempo Storm not looking to take a fight here just yet. Both teams will back up and take their giants.
Yeah, I mean, that's a safe call. But like you said, 10 coins on the board for 2ARK. Right now, they're collecting 2 more. That's going to put them very close to that next turn-in. Now, Glaurung in the top.
Yeah, this is something it's important to bring up because the longer that these two teams stall out without fighting, Tempo Storm's going to pull ahead because they have that extra soak.
And they were behind, and now they're very much in an even position. Once they hit 16, they can try to take this fight. Now, those next 2 coins, they haven't been turned in. It's not quite enough, but I believe that chest will be spawning relatively soon.
Yeah, they should be. But as you can see, Tempo Storm is actually caught back up in experience because of that ETC split push. So if you're wondering why ETCs go for that stage dive over the mosh pit, this is a very, very good example of it.
And KO, this is so scary. 1 shadow charge is all it takes. Now, stage dive can be used by ETC to get into this fight, but KO is separated from the rest of his team, and is just kind of throwing out his abilities to bully this back. There is the stage dive, and they're looking for an initiation. Trader is the target, and the knockback goes in, but now Glaurung very far from his team. Now, Strafe going out, dishing out a lot of damage. Apocalypse connecting with nearly everyone. The Ancestral used an Arthlon, but now Glaurung, he is all by himself. The heals are just barely enough to get him out of the situation. The block commencing, keeping him alive, and they are just backing on out. I believe Tempo Storm is going to be able to survive, but no, the flip onto Arthlon. The sprint, oh my goodness, Finucci is the first one to die.
A little bit too aggressive from the Diablo. They did get a nice root, but Quibsy catches quite a large heal from Malfurion. Wow.
But they pick up.
Yeah, they did pick up Rhaegar.
Yeah.
So it's a 1-for-1 trade right now.
And that's favorable at this point. And when it comes down to the respawn available on Diablo.
Yeah, that's a very good point to bring up. Still only 2 coins for 2-Arc. They can't get a turn off of this. They're going to have to rotate around a little bit, pick up some of these pirate camps that they have available to them now because they have the hero advantage.
Well, this is all looking very good right now for 2-Arc. The chests are now spawning in a very favorable position. Zagara could get caught off here. Zagara should be well aware that she is by herself. There is no kind of blink or anything, and they decide not to chase. They don't know what's on the other side of that bridge.
Yeah, smart call for Zagara. Just be careful there. Of course, even no Maw to get out, of course, was used in the last fight. Still enough to turn in. Are they going to get away with it? Oh, nice block from Panucci. Knows that there is no Pierce for Tyrande, and is just, I'm going to put myself in the way that the Sentinel is likely to come from so that we can make sure that we get this turn in. And once again,
I think that's a keep this time around.
Yeah, I think so.
Middle keep
should
should
close,
fall, and that's a pretty advantageous position to have those catapults pushing down. Still a fort standing on the side of 2-Arc, so that's a rather good situation. 1 minute left until this boss. We can see that Tempo Storm, they're just kind of hanging out in the middle of the map.
Bruisers were captured bottom. This could set up for a little bit of pressure in the bottom lane, and oh yes, okay, it was just enough to take that bottom keep. So now we're going to see a little bit more, not mercenary, but catapults will be spawning in the middle lane. That's just something that Tempo Storm's going to have to respond to as the game goes on from here on out. That lane will constantly out pushing.
And look at this. I mean, they picked up those bottom bruisers. They're getting the offensive giants. That's going to get them coins. And yes, they put down some damage on these structures, but really it's about collecting those coins, providing this distraction, and backing up. Now, ETC continuing to be obnoxious in the top lane, pushing in with bruisers himself. This is going to force a bit of a rotation, and only Vala will be going up to the top, and the Sentinel should see her.
Yep, so it needs to respond to that push that ETC has been getting, but is it enough of an advantage? So I think that Tempo Storm is really going to have to come up with a different kind of plan. This split pushing, while it is nice, isn't really going to get them back into the game anytime soon. Especially, well, the coin count is good. If they can get this turn in, that will help quite a bit. But like you mentioned, the structure count, it's also so important on this map, especially with no mules for either side. Eventually, if 2-Arc keeps playing like the way they are, they will just win, out of fruition, right? So
that's true. Tempo has to make something happen. They have to take a fight. In 2-Arc, they're just playing very passively now. Spider's just constantly being thrown out. Soldier backing on up to the rest of his team, and it looks like Tempo is going to disengage once again, giving up. Not quite a full turn in, but it's still 11 coins going in to Blackheart right now.
All right, what do we need to see?
They need to just get aggressive and take a fight. They need to steal those coins, and if they just keep, even if it's not a full turn in, turning in 11 coins is a big deal. And
but how do they get aggressive? That's the thing. There's not really a giant initiator for the fight, I guess, aside from the stage dive, but that's, it's only applying a bit of slow and a bit of damage. It's not like a mosh pit where they can, turn around a huge fight to punish some positioning. Panucci actually getting in the way of Glaurung, and the rest of his team will force him out to the side.
And this is really good. The Hunter's Mark goes down, and they blow up Diablo, but he does have that respawn. Now, Trader is incredibly low. That Maw picks up, and there's the stage dive. Tranquility is doing what it does best and just healing everyone up very quickly. Lunar Flare connecting on Trader, knocking it back for Hunter's Mark. It's going to be enough to pick up a kill. Again, there are no coins available, but this is the kind of fight they need to take. They can turn around after this and just get a nice turn in, and I think that's the right call considering Diablo is back up and ready for business.
That's a very good point. They have more than enough coins to turn in. I almost thought that Maw was going to get Trummel out of that. Oh, sorry, not Trummel. The Zagara player out of that.
Used to seeing Trummel
I know,
play
so
Zagara.
I really am. That's funny. But yeah, I really thought that was going to get Zagara out of that particular fight. But pretty nice aggression. I thought Glaurung for sure was overextending, but he was able to get the follow-up on the kill. And overall, power of Hunter's Mark was really shown in the cooldown reduction. They were able to get it off twice in that last fight.
Makes a big difference.
It really does.
Now, this is helping them quite a bit. That middle lane is where they have the catapults, and they're getting a lot of pressure on. It's not going to kill this keep, but it's going to put Tempo Storm in a relatively similar position in terms of structure, and they have less turn-ins on their side, so it costs them less coins to turn.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Yep, absolutely. So that was really what they needed to see. Although I will say it wasn't really
It was more Tuark
A
getting
little bit
aggressive,
overextended,
but
right?
look at the levels. 20. This is
Yeah.
gonna put Temple Storm in a position where they can try to, like, I mean, they're bowling them back to getting another free turn in. Now 18 coins going in,
Yeah.
only 16 needed. Now it's even. That's gonna kill the middle keep, and the boss is up for contention.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of an overextension from Diablo's part. Yes, he has the souls to get back up into the next fight, but still, like, that's still a lot of travel time. And if you lose the Diablo that fast, I get that they were really trying to punish Glaurung, and they almost had it. Still, just unfortunate how that fight ended up unfolding for Tuark, and now, as quick as a drop of the hat, they had a ton of coins saved up. Temple Storm was just being very patient about when they were going to turn them in. And like you mentioned, because they had done so much structural aggression, now they're finding themselves in a really, really nice spot.
Where did that stage dive go? He found
mid, yep.
members here in the middle. Now they are a bit split up. Zagara in the jungle on the right here, going for those giants. Gonna have to run away and disperse. So it went from a situation where Tuark was like trying to split out and capture a lot of objectives to Temple Storm just pressuring with 1 or 2 heroes, and they're gonna rotate back, pick up some giants, pick up some bruisers, and really just kind of take a little bit more control on the jungle for the first time in a very long time in this game.
Absolutely, and this level 20 is giving them a ton of bargaining chips in terms of when we are going to see
Bargaining chips.
You get it? Because gambling and,
Yeah,
and coins
yeah,
and
I
stuff.
like it.
Oh,
I
that's
like
good,
it.
right? But yeah, we have the hardened shield from ETC, so all those times that we saw him get caught out and almost die, it's going to be even worse in terms of him being able to stay alive in those fights. The rewind from Tyrande, that's extra stuns. The survivability with Storm Shield. Jaina now gets a bolt. You know, you can't pass those talents up, and Tuark has to be very careful with how they pick their fights until they hit that time.
I mean,
level 20.
This game is at the point where one team fight will just very likely end the game. If it's won convincingly enough, I mean, that's just going to be a deal breaker for the losing end. And we see the boss is available. They are rotating up. Does it force the positioning on Tempo Storm? They could turn in the coins they have, but I don't think they have a ton. 8 coins on the side of Tempo Storm. If they manage to steal the coins from Tuark, they're going to be in a good spot. But again, 11 coins already on the board for Tuark.
We got that level 20 for Tuark as well. We see a bolt grabbed for Diablo and Vala. Zagara as well. Improved Archon, and I would assume it's probably Storm Shield. Actually, Mouth can still grab bolt, right? Might be quad bolt.
He can.
We'll see.
I think Storm Shield makes the most sense.
And actually, Tempo Storm was able to bully out positioning-wise. You know, you could just see after that last fight, Tuark is not as confident
But this
as
is
they
the
were
turn in.
moving around.
This is the
That's
turn
a
in.
good point. A good point.
They don't have that Sentinel to stop this, so they're trading on a boss. There's a lot of aggression in the bottom lane, but that's going to destroy not a keep. It will not get a keep.
Oh, this is becoming a real big problem for Tuark. Just the map control that they have it's just slipping through their fingers.
The chest spawning here. Oh my god, they stopped the turn in with stage dive. I didn't even realize that. I can't believe I missed that. I was so focused on the core health, and that's huge. That's a massive use of that stage dive, bowling them back, stopping the turn in. Coins just spawn. Boss pushing down top lane.
That's what I'm saying. Like, all of a sudden, they just have this huge grip on the map. And Storm is like really turned this around, and it just took that one team fight to regain map control. And it's all of a sudden they have the grip on all the coins.
And Tempo can just back out, stall this out, and let that boss do its work, because there's a few bruisers mixed in with this wave to help it out.
Malfurion still has not grabbed the level 20 talent. We'll have to pay attention to that as the fight starts. Glaurung actually looking to get aggressive to stop this. Not quite.
So there is the turn-in. They did successfully pick up a turn-in, but that will not destroy a keep. But
Boss
this top
is still
keep,
full,
and that keep is down. There is a good amount of time before Tempo Storm can actually turn in the coins of their own, but this is forcing Tuark back to defend this boss. He'll get just barely through that. Even the shields of Tassler are going to help defend, but it should be able to dish out a little bit of damage.
Yeah,
to
something
the core.
probably like 15% maybe.
You know what? All things considered, bringing it down to 86%, that's something. When you consider Blackhearts, damage is damage. There are no mules in this game. They take offensive bruisers to continue that aggression, and this opens up the door for them to go turn in.
Yeah, this is about 1.5 turn-ins for Tempo Storm to end the game. Tuark is going to have to turn in quite a bit more than that, probably something closer to 2 or 3. So This once again, this gives a huge positioning. They have the bruisers that we saw them take aggressively while 2Arc was finishing cleaning that up, and that's just another thing that's going to be putting more pressure on that top lane.
Oh, they're 2 coins away from that turn-in,
They are.
and they're being bullied back. Glaurung seems to be the target to be flipped. The Lunar Flow does not connect, but the Bolt of Storm is forced out. Maw connecting with both Dread and KO, and Glaurung needs to be very careful using that Hardened Shield. But look at that Gargantuan just wailing away on Trader, dishing out so much damage. Ancestral connecting on Dreadnought, and the Hunter's Mark once again. Minucci this time does not have Bolt and will end up falling, but Glaurung follows.
Oh my gosh, is that really what's going to turn this fight around? I'm shocked. Okay, Soldier almost falling down. They still have a ton of HP. Man, the Malfurion is just getting work done, keeping the rest of their team alive. And surprisingly, they end up just making a trade, both the Warriors out. And is this the swing?
Oh my gosh, look at their core.
Yeah.
They don't even realize this. They're in the
That's-
jungle. If
that's
Furious
it?
C just now hearthing, Arthlon in the front line cleaning up that wave so the catapults can do what they do best. And Arthlon going to be able to back out of this Bolt of the Storm going off. It's not quite game, but only 2 more coins need to be turned in. Quibsy does vault forward, getting out of the situation. Bolt of the Storm being used. Arthlon going to blow up Trader so fast. He's very low. Quibsy has to run away from this.
Yeah, he has no mana though, so that's just not even allowing the option for Vault to get out. Meanwhile, Furious D is just really trying to defend that core as much as possible. It's down to 44%. This, I'm almost sure. It's so close. I think one more turn and will actually finish the game. It's going to be so close. Enough for Temple Storm to actually just dive on the core right now.
They're just going to wait.
I don't know if there's anything that 2Arc can do about this, and I think we're going to game number 5 in this series.
I think we are. It's going to be oh so very close. There's the stage dive coming in. Glaurung incredibly aggressive. The rest of the team being zoned out from this. So this is really nice, like attempt to pull their aggression, but Furious D backing on up. Dread, he's getting so low. The Shadow Charge putting him out of position, forcing out that Storm Shield. Is it going to be enough? And there is that Tranquility that has gotten so much value all game long, but 2 members are down on the side of 2Arc.
Yeah, but actually the turn-ins is only, there's 2 more cannon shots, but I really think this is enough for Temple Storm absolutely can just dive in and get the rest of the damage that is needed. And you see the GG is called from Panucci. Game number 5.
I can't
2-2.
believe it.
This is it. What a series this has been so far. My gosh, they were really able to just turn around the momentum of that game.
Yeah.
With just that one team fight. A little bit of an overextension. Apparently, that's all it takes for Temple Storm to just say, okay, momentum is ours, and we are winning this game.
Just very cautious,
They were playing
smart
so
play.
patient up to that point because I was thinking, like, they need to make a move. They need to make a move. They're just this game is just going to run away from them if they continue to let 2Arc just turn in,
Yeah.
get all that structure damage in. And they were so far ahead. I think there were 3 keeps and a fort down to two keeps. Which is
they were dead for sure in my book. I was like, there's no way
it's
they're
going to
coming
be.
back on
They
this
had
map.
to, and they had to take a huge team fight, and they did.
And yeah, once they had that footing,
Yeah.
they were able to just go toe to toe. And even I just can't stress enough how big. I mean, we missed the action on the screen. The stage dive, that stop, that turn in.
It's very good.
That was what kept Temple Storm in the game. The keep wouldn't have fallen, but it allowed them to just keep that aggression away from them. It allowed them to get that level 20 first and continue to have that pressure. And oh my goodness, what a game that was!
That was a really, really close. Probably one of the closer. No, probably not the closest Black Cards.
Not the closest, but it was up there.
Pretty close. At least in terms of seeing someone with a pretty large lead moving into the late game and then having it like turn around all of a sudden, and it turned pretty close.
And that's why we see ETC banned out a lot.
It's true. He's really good on that map too.
Yeah. So really, really exciting game. Yep. But guys, we're gonna get ready for game number 5, the final game of the night, and this will determine the winner, the winners bracket match tomorrow. Right. Just taking a look at the bracket presently, right now, Complexity is sitting in the losers bracket. Maelstrom defeated them 3-1 earlier today.
That's right. So we're now looking at Temple Storm and 2Arc. They really, really want to try to get that advantage of being in the winners bracket. Of course, the loser will go off to face Complexity tomorrow. That probably will be the first match that we cast, I would imagine. So Complexity versus and like honestly, whichever team ends up going, even though it's round 1 losers bracket, still going to be an insane series.
It definitely is.
That's why I love this playoffs bracket. They're all really super stacked teams. So even the bottom side of the losers bracket, still going to be awesome teams duking it out. Love it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to throw to a quick commercial break. Get ready for the final game of the night. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the ESL Major League Americas.
They're already starting the draft, Jake. I'm Kubi.
I'm Solid Jake, and the Game 5 draft has begun.
Yes.
And Kubi is wiggling, he's waggling.
Illidan ban.
You can't shake at that, because it's, is that a term? Shake at that?
I think what you're looking for is can't shake a stick at that.
Yeah.
Can't shake a stick at that.
Good.
The idioms become quite difficult at 2 a.m.
Especially after a game like that, because, oh my goodness,
one.
I was actually, my mind was a bit blown at the end of all of that, just because that game, it could have gone either way for like 5 minutes, where it was just back and forth and back and forth. Very, very close game of Blackheart's Bay, but Garden of Terror is our final game of the night.
Yes.
This will determine who moves to the winners finals and who falls to the losers bracket to face complexity. And that's crazy to say.
It is super crazy.
To face complexity, because those guys, they were undefeated in league play, 7-0, and here
That's
they
funny, actually. I didn't
here
even,
they
didn't
sit.
think about that.
Here they sit in the losers bracket, falling to Maelstrom, Cloud9. And it's all going to be decided here between Tempo Storm and 2ARC to see who advances to the winners finals.
All I got to say is, Jake, you got to be clutch when it counts. And you can go undefeated throughout the entire group play and then lose 0-2.
Yeah, actually, Cloud9 was the 4th seed. They were actually one game away from not qualifying for playoffs.
That's what's so exciting about this playoffs bracket. Like, all 4 of these teams, very capable of winning it. Very capable.
And, well, looking at this draft, those damage dealers are being prioritized, and Tempo Storm has realized the threat of Malfurion. Malfurion has been doing wonders this series, and they have stolen him from 2ARC Gaming.
That's a good point. Actually, has 2ARC taken Malf every game? No, just about. The last 3 games.
I love to
has
see
taken
this
Malf.
kind of stuff. People always say, it's all about Rhaegar Uther. It's all about Rhaegar Uther. But Malf's potential is so high. And, Malf definitely sees play.
Yeah.
Sure. But he's prioritized so less often for many teams.
So if the pattern will hold true, it looks both teams really ended up scooping up a ton of damage. Was that last game? Or was it the previous one? Anyway, Tassadar, Zeratul? Protoss boys?
Zeratul. Okay. 2ARC. Zeratul's banned out in that last game. Tempo Storm said
That's true.
the VP ruined us at the end. It stopped the heroic leap. It had too much of an impact. They respected it. This game they went back to their guns. They said, okay, get VP on this map. We don't care as much. And they're picking it up again, going back to what they like. It had success. If it ain't fixed, don't broke it.
If it ain't fixed, don't broke it. Absolutely. Now, if a team has a crazy strategy, like a real crazy, we've seen the Divine Shield stuff. That's pretty neat. Do you think that a team would save it for this match, or is it something you only save for the finals? Like we're talking like real weird.
At this point in time, qualifying for winners bracket, busting out a crazy strategy is more than warranted, because dropping down to losers bracket, I mean this match is for money. If you qualify to winners, you're guaranteed a top 3 placing.
Well, there's money for all the teams here.
It's true.
More money. A lot more money.
Winning this match guarantees you top 3.
Yeah.
It gives you that extra life moving in. You can lose in the winners finals and still have a chance at the grand finals.
Yep, absolutely.
So this match, it's not your tournament life yet, but it's still a pivotal enough point to bust out something crazy. I mean, we saw Tempo bust out. They went down game 1, and then they busted out the Divine Shield strat. So every single match means so much.
Very, very good point, especially when you consider this is game point for both teams. This is the final match of the night, Jake.
Yeah, I'm loving
too
every
exciting.
moment
It's too
of this.
exciting.
I really am. This game is just so incredibly exciting, and well, we do have Tempo sitting in a position where they could grab that double support. Uther Malfurion has been a terrifyingly strong style that we've seen in the past. It's well within the question. They could easily scoop up ETC and Uther right now. Their damage might seem low, but it's been done in the past, and it's seen a lot of success. And based on what 2ARC has so far, it's not without the realm of possibilities, because 2ARC pretty much has to grab a tank and a healer.
Gives you that burst and sustained heal over time. It's going to be quite difficult to pick up those kills. Diablo
And Zagara. Maw Apocalypse. This is
I'm okay with this.
Plus Jaina.
Yes.
I mean, plus Jaina could be added
Yes,
at the
I'm
end of
okay
any
with
team
this.
comp, and it still works really well.
But this puts that threat of the potential Tyrande as that final pick, and that's something Turok really can't grab. They really can't afford to grab Tyrande. So if that's what Tempo's looking for, the flip just blow you up, it's on the table.
Man, you know what's really exciting about watching this game, about casting this game, is how often the meta shifts.
Oh, yeah. In
As
like
of
a
late.
week. In like a week.
There was a point where, like, I'd say maybe between like October and maybe late December, where
It was
the
stale.
meta got
Static,
stale.
yeah.
It just like, okay, the teams keep picking the same things over and over. This game is like the compositions between the teams. It's starting to become specialized team to team, and it also shifts really frequently. There isn't like, I mean, to be honest, at one point it was Tempo Storm comes up with something new, all the other teams copy it. For a while, that was kind of what was happening. And
Yeah,
it was.
but now you got teams like Turok that are entrepreneuring quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then
All the teams
I mean,
are.
we see Evil Geniuses. They've really popularized that pick composition a lot. Influence coming from Europe with stuff like Chen Stormstout. So very cool things, but
Yeah.
they do go for ETC. Not a big surprise. And Uther still on the table. Very likely going to be their last pick unless they decide they want something like Lili. But we've seen how well Shadow Charge can deal with that.
So you think the Uther steal?
I don't think it's a steal. I just think
Well,
Uther's-
you mentioned that the Malf Uther might be.
It might be
pretty
a
good
thing
with Divine Storm,
but I think
Not enough
Tyrande
damage,
fits,
maybe?
fits very well. And Cape Right Wing. So you want that global presence, both of them having global
Yeah,
presence.
double global presence.
Yeah,
It's good,
that's really good.
especially on this map too.
Does
where
it
it's
does
so
this
large.
does this trigger something like Vikings, or do they stick to their guns with Tyrande? We've seen the power of Tyrande for just eliminating people, but they do have that Void Prison to try to stall out those combos. So there would be a tall order for Zeratul for seeing that combo happening in a team fight and then stopping it in its tracks. But it's within the realm of possibilities.
I was gonna say maybe leap with Sonya, but I think there's just too many stuns. It could be a follow up. I don't know.
Sonya?
It'd be enough damage. Just to follow up on that combo.
I
Trying to
think
think what else that they might grab. And also in terms of what Tempo Storm plays.
I think Sonya would be interesting, like a weird choice, just because Emerald Wind is on the table. Emerald Wind Poly. I think that's too strong.
I think,
of a response.
yeah, that's really what I'm driving at, is that she can get in there, but if she gets polyed right away,
right.
then unless you catch Brightwing inside, so
True.
it's probably too much. I mean, and when you look at it, you're accomplishing that AOE stun, but Tyrande pretty much does that in a much safer fashion.
Yeah, now the Lunar Blaze no longer grants additional width. They buff the width on the Lunar Flare in general, and Lunar Blaze is now at level 7 and only gives it additional range. But Vikings, Tyrande, those are the two picks I'm considering myself. We'll see what they go for. Tyke's still on the table. There's a lot of options. They're down to just 3 seconds here in the draft.
Tychus, okay, it is Tyrande.
Okay, so that's what we thought. They just were weighing all the options until the last possible minute. Nothing crazy happening. This is the first time we've seen a very blow-up style out of Tempo Storm today with Diablo, Tyrande, Jaina.
Yeah, and we have seen Complexity run this type of combo in two. I'm thinking particularly back to that Haunted Mine games, like Haunted Mines game. There we go.
There you go. English.
The early, if you remember that, like early kill that got was just like that style was just executed perfectly, and throughout the rest of that game. So this is it. This is it.
Giving the players the good luck, have fun. As soon as they are ready, we will begin the final game of the night. Game number 5 between Turok Iliad and Tempo Storm. Phenomenal matches today.
Yep. Hey, we've gotten 9 awesome games out of these guys.
What
No
a day.
stops from either
And
side.
to think
all,
we
all
have
great.
4 more best of 5s tomorrow? It's a good day to be a Heroes of the Storm fan.
It really is. It really is.
It's a good time. So, all right. Well, we see good luck, have fun coming out from Turok Tempo Storm. As soon as they're ready, they will respond.
Trying to see if Jaina still has that. No, Jaina doesn't have that 100% win rate. It's proven to be very, very impactful in these previous. Oh, need a quick bio break,
Yep,
perhaps.
yep.
Okay.
Quick issue. Just you want to be
Pizza just arrived. Got to catch that door. I want
Pro
pizza.
tip for everyone out there:
Huh.
don't shovel pizza in your mouth when you're casting a turn between games. This is a mistake I made very early on in our casting career in Kings of the Storm. Pizza arrived. We did exactly that. Got off the camera.
Was I here for that one?
I
Was I in
I
Japan?
think that was the time that I was casting without you, and you put a pizza box next to me. You ordered pizza. You literally brought pizza and you put it next to me, and I destroyed it. I demolished that pizza. The salt ruined my throat during that cast because I had like 3 more hours of casting.
So salty things are
Like a bag of
like a bag of salt,
salt and
vinegar,
vinegar
potato chips.
that I might have.
Do you
just
know anything
consumed.
about those? Jake with the pro strategies, not even listening to his own advice.
Oh my goodness. Well, as soon as the players are ready, this Game 5 will commence. And just taking a look at the bracket once more. Complexity sitting in the losers bracket. Maelstrom sitting in the winners finals. That's what we have there. The winners finals, which is what 2ARC and Tempestorm, one of those teams, will be qualifying for right here, right now.
Question. The fact that Cloud9 was able to upset their nemesis, I use air quotes loosely here, they were able to upset their nemesis from the past tournaments that they have been playing in, the fact they're able to beat Complexity, does this put them in a really good spot to just take this whole thing? What do you think?
They looked so incredibly convincing today. Coming to this event, Complexity is the favorite. They were 7-0 in the group stage.
Yeah.
They won Titan Arena last week. They just got picked up by a sponsor, formerly Barrel Boys. They were looking unbeatable. And Maelstrom beat them 3-1 in very convincing fashion. But guys, that's a different story. Here is our map, Garden of Terror,
That's
game
right.
number 5. Kubi, let us introduce our teams.
On the blue side, we have Dreadnought on Malfurion, Soldier on Tyrande, Glaurung's going to be playing Diablo, Arthalon on Jaina, KO playing Zagara, and all together they form Tempo Storm.
And I'm just doing some quick production things. And
All right. We can do that. Let's hop on over to the red side for you guys. We have Traders going to be playing Zeratul, Furious D on Tassadar, Quibsy on Vala, Pinucci will be playing ETC, and Chubbs rocking the support will be playing Brightwing. Altogether they form 2ARC Iliad.
And we've got that Brightwing, the
monkey.
monkey skin,
The monkey.
Luxorian, I believe it is called. Luxorian Brightwing.
They just re-skinned the voice, a quote.
Yes, I haven't heard it yet,
Reskin
but I'm
the voice.
actually scared of it. And look at this, level 1, Vala picking up Raikor. Already something very uncommon. Now, with battle momentum being removed, we've talked about the idea of a auto attack Vala becoming more popular. This gives you more single target damage, and that's every Hatred stack gives her additional attack speed. So this is likely going to be searing attacks at level 7, where we would have seen battle momentum, and I'm actually really excited to see this unfold.
My issue always is when running an auto attack build with Vala is the range. She has decent range, but I find myself more often than not putting myself too close to really try to get the effectiveness out of it. So I always just feel more comfortable. Oh
my
Chubbs,
goodness.
there it is.
And it's going to be just enough to pick up that kill. The Lunar Flare was on point, but Soldier will get traded out. And very nicely done. Now Trader getting flipped on over, or knocked by that Shadow Charge at least. Pushing him back, and that Brightwing, the face shift, comes right on back,
all the way
on
back
over.
in.
Yep.
So we'll have to pay attention to the positioning that Vala has during these team fights. If she has to move a little bit too far forward to get the effectiveness for Rancor. If there's a lot of control on the other team, sure, like maybe a dance or something like that, you really start to, well, maybe that's what I'm seeing. Oh my goodness, Glaurung and Soldier really just showing the power of the combo between Tyrande and Diablo. Scary stuff.
And Trader just hanging out here. Arthalon is a very squishy target, needs to be careful, but Diablo being able to body block there. We see the Flames. This is very aggressive, trying to steal these seeds. They have enemies on every side, but it looks like they are going to be safe doing this, as ETC in the top, not available to help peel for the rest of the team.
Yeah, and they're actually going to be splitting a little, so probably a 45 to 15 split, not counting the larger golems or garden terrors. So,
yeah, three out of 4 of the camps going to Tempo Storm. That's nice. Just putting on that aggression very early, and we'll see what they can get to happen here. Of course, with all 4 of these members together, there's roots, there's stuns, and there's a lot of damage available.
there it is. Once again, we've seen that combo executed so many times. Quibsy going to actually survive getting that protect shield from Brightwing at level 4. As soon as he hit level 4, popped that and was able to keep Quibsy alive. Now, the thing that I should mention is it is 60 seeds for taking out 1 Garden Terror, right? So 2ARC, if they don't want to give up a Garden Terror to Tempo Storm. They have to contest. They can't be satisfied with trading.
That's true. That's true. And look at this aggression going in. That time, the combo's going to hit with Furious G. He's going to be able to back up, forcing the phase shift out of Chubbs, forcing the position on Brightwing. A lot of aggression now. Arthlon needs to be very careful on Jaina. ETC and Zeratul lurk in the shadows. And at the moment he steps off that money pig, he is going to be incredibly vulnerable.
I just can't get over how effective this roaming combo is between Soldier. Actually, Chubbs might find himself. Oh, that's not good. Oh, gets locked out, and the Hunter's Mark being thrown down. It is going to be enough damage with
the
KO.
Poly was actually an instant too late. The final auto attack of Zagara did get off before he became a lowly pig.
And Tempo Storm is taking this sudden lead that they have here, this 2-to-1 kill advantage, and they are going to attempt to take this boss. And yes, you can see 2Arc understands that they don't want to end up giving up this first tower. Furious D almost getting chain slammed with the Garden Terror. Soldier actually finding himself really low.
Those heals came out at the last possible moment, and they are going to be welcome to keep Tyrande alive, but they do force them off that Garden Terror.
This is a smart play because they know that they need to deny this, and actually Tempo Storm is rotating right down. Right now, they know that they can probably get themselves a Garden Terror. I don't think 2Arc is going to get down there in time to deny this.
He's dying. Yeah. The fact that Jaina's trait is affected on things like the Plant Terror makes her so much more useful in these kind of situations, and that is going to be enough seeds for the first Terror to be picked up here. And look at Trader in the front line, hitting that cleave on multiple targets, blinking on out at the last moment, but the Envenom onto Quibsy is the flip there. Poly trying to zone, trying to build time for that, and the shields come out from across the wall, but Brightwing will get blown up by the combo.
Trader really overstepping his bounds, perhaps a little bit, not quite. And Panucci also really far out of positions, getting the stun, and the Hunter's Mark probably not available off cooldown. But man, they've just been chaining so many kills together. Tempo Storm is looking so solid in this early game.
Yeah, they have a full level lead already. The aggression, I mean, KO, he's going to take a lot of damage, but he did a lot of aggression in the top lane, and that is a raw Plant Terror picked up with no Plant Terror against it. Now, early Terrors, not that impactful, but they still provide a rather strong advantage for pushing, and just the power of Queen's Curse can never be ignored.
Yeah, which it remains the same in its ineffectiveness throughout the game. But you're right. This is basically before 5 minutes. Plant Terrors are more or less large HP pools to soak up tower shots. And they're probably going to get more or less towers like you would expect to see with the Dragon Knight as well. But it's split pushing power that this team all of a sudden has that they can make use of. And they can force positioning errors like we see right here. Panucci a little bit too far forward, and that Queen's Curse sitting right on top of the gate, making it very difficult for members of 2Arc to escape to safety.
Yeah, and they're just rotating back and forth. They picked up that kill. That puts them a little bit further ahead. They still have that one level advantage, and they're soaking all three lanes while 2Arc is not in the bottom. So KO is getting that effectiveness in the bottom of the Terror, soaking the top lane and pushing so hard.
Yeah, the soak is one thing, and you're also getting heavy push from Glaurung in this top lane through the Garden Terror. So everything right now is pointing towards a very strong start for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, and they're just plowing through this wall. Level 10 already been reached, and 9 is not even on the table yet for 2Arc. This is another advantage that they continue to capitalize on.
Yes, level 10. So let's take a look at some of these heroics. Ma, Water Elemental. We see the Tranquility, the Starfall. Diablo still taking into consideration which heroic he wants to grab, whether that be Lightning Breath or APOC, and it is going to be Lightning Breath.
Chubbs is going to be not caught out, but Quibsy is so
for
far
sure.
forward. They mess up the combo. They missed the Lunar Flare, a little bit late on that, but the flip might be available. I'm not too sure the cooldown on that. Not going to be ready. In the backline, Arthlon taking a lot of damage. Lightning Breath was used to pick up the kill, and Trader is incredibly low. Now, do we see a Sentinel go out? There it is. Not going to be needed as the Blizzard does pick up the kill.
Another 2 kills for Tempo Storm. Actually, yeah, it was funny. The flip in that chase for Vala was really, I think, probably just muscle memory. Like, just went in, Shower Charge and flipped. Oh well, they still ended up getting the kill. Tempo Storm finding themselves almost a 2-level lead. Going to hit that level 13, and we're going to see that 2Arc is just probably hitting level 10. They really need to just soak, play as safe as possible until they can get level 10. And we're still going with that heavy auto attack build for Vala. Manticore grab, steering attacks. So given the opportunity for her to put all of that damage out in a short amount of time while being uncontested, she can really put some pain down.
She certainly can, and we have Malf rotating down now. It is, again, the second nice phase of the game, and we see just 2ARC immediately collecting some seeds here in the bottom. They have the entire team. They're going to be able to get the 30 seeds quite easily, and that's just shy for them getting their first plant terror of the game. Just have to dish out a little bit of damage. One more seed is all they will need. But look at that. A fort fell in the top lane to the power of these offensive cruisers that were picked up. And Tempo Storm will get themselves another Plantera of their own.
Yeah. The split is definitely going to be something that's nice for 2ARC to be able to pick up, considering the amount of kills that they've been suffering. So they will be able to make an attempt to get some structural pushback, but there's a heavy aggression being lined up in the top lane with these bruisers. Yeah, they're actually trying to take the wall down.
Yeah, this is going to force a full-on Hearth. They wanted to get some aggression. Only ETC can say. Actually, these Chubbs on Brightwing can say also for that global presence, but they force out that planter to be used defensively.
Yeah, and the Overgrowth is quite good at cleaning up mercenary camps and waves that have been pushing forward. But still, this is more time that just keeps the Terror at home, not pushing forward. And like we mentioned before, some of these teams, they are understanding the timing attack. If 2 Terrors are available at once, you more or less wait as long as possible to grab it over the other team so that you have a timing window, perhaps something like 40 seconds. At this point, it might actually be closer to a minute, where you have a Terror pushing that they don't.
Well, we do see that bottom fort did fall to that, the global availability for Brightwing and ETC working out for them in this match. That's helping them get back into this game. 13 to 12 level 30 talents have been picked up, and we can see the Ice Block and Malfurion. That's become a very popular pick, but also have from the Shadows here on Diablo that gives him additional range on his Shadow Charge.
Yep, and Sprint, of course, for the extra survivability for Jaina. And the Overflowing Light, once again, grabbed for Tyrande. She has kind of an awkward level 13 talent tier. I think it's going to come down to people grabbing that or Sprint without the range and width increase.
I mean, it makes her healing a lot more impactful. So it's refreshing to see Tyrande start to have a little bit more effectiveness in terms of healing. Fiercely, fourth dimensional shift. The Queen's Curse will not connect, but the rest of the combo will, and that is a very decisive kill, forcing on a stage dive onto these 2 squishy heroes. The sprint going out from Jaina, backing up, and there's the tranquility of our Malfurion. The damage is being dealt. Chubbs is forced back. Queen's Curse not going to connect with ETC, but man, that is going to be a very early keep falling on the side of 2ARC.
Yeah, that seems really risky for Panucci to stage dive. Even this play right here, it just seems like really overly aggressive, and he might end up finding himself on the losing end. It's too much damage.
Now that Queen's Curse and Maw are going to set up something massive. Quibsy out of position. Lightning Breath is doing wonders right now as we have one member down, just that Jaina, or the Vault, excuse me, Tassadar has respawned, but with the keep falling, they can just calmly back up and continue to take control over the map.
Yeah, this lines up very nicely with them. Tempo Storm backing up to take these Giants. I don't expect them to rotate to take the bottom set of Giants, as that's very likely what 2ARC will be able to do with their time. But still, map control is going to go very heavily in Tempo Storm's favor at this point, and they're so close to hitting, not so close, but they're going to hit level 16 so much faster than 2ARC will, and that's just another timing window they have. It's almost going to be 2 levels. It's going to be close to a 2-level timing window.
Yeah, and it's gonna be significant, and 14 around the corner, but like you said, they're gonna be picking up that 16 rather quickly. They're murking across the map. Giants in the top. We have those Giants finally being cleaned up mid by Trader, and they are gonna make their way to these bruisers. Now, and it looks like Panucci wants to contest this, and that Sentinel will reveal his position, reveal the rest of the team, and Tempo is just gonna play safe, wait for that Sagara, and then maybe take the fight here.
I think that 2ARC right now really needs to just be maximizing their split push potential. As best they can, try to put Panucci and Brightwing in separate lanes, Chubbs, in 2 of the other lanes so that they can try to catch up to level 16. I'm not really sure that taking a fight at this point is something that's in their best interest.
How quickly Trader did fall to that. Panucci very low in the backline. Vala fell. Stage dive used in desperation in a very clean fight from Tempo Storm. They have 16. They picked up the bruisers, and the night phase has just begun, so this is time for them to collect as many seeds as humanly possible.
I think you can kind of see that 2ARC is getting a little disparaged, I suppose is the best way to put it, because the cleanse was good to keep Furiously alive, but the stage dive was it's unfortunate. It's not really something that's going to work, unfortunately, so they're realizing that this is starting to slip out of control. They do need to rally back. It's still very possible to win this game.
Well, the game is not over, but they can more than more than capable of coming back in this game. We saw that last game with Tempest Storm down in Blackheart's Bay, and they just stuck in it, waited for that right moment, and found a slip-up and got back in the game, and that's what they need to do. They're going to the top to contest those seeds. The Sentinel will scout out nothing, so they didn't see the members, but they have to expect what's happening. And Tempest Storm's going to be rotating on up.
I don't think that 2Arc is going to be able to capture this Garden Terror in time. Actually, they even spent a little bit too much time trying to clear the seeds, and now, yeah, Tempest Storm can get as aggressive as they want.
Yeah, that's a big
Void
Prison. And Lightning Breath is going to be going off, forcing them back quite a bit. Starfall was used as well, so all the heroics except for Maw and Water Elemental just coming off cooldown, not available, but they do have that 17 to 15 lead.
Yeah, Strafe still up on the side of 2Arc, but they are going to be backing up, and this is just really going to be pointing towards more seeds, more mercenary camps for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, denying that terror of 2Arc is quite big, and this is going to get them a terror of their own. There is already a single keep down, and this is going to allow them to get so much more aggressive.
At this point, 2Arc needs to be very, very careful with this Garden Terror pushing in. If they lose 1, maybe 2 kills in any of these team fights, that's it. Like they're at the point where, you know, they're backed up against the ropes. They have to play super solid at this point, and they need a big fight. They have 16 now, which is going to help a lot. We see the imposing presence, blood for blood survivability, double bombs, 3% damage output. Quibsy able to dash out. Maw being thrown down.
Yeah, that's really... The Maw is actually working against them, keeping Glowering on the other side, but it doesn't matter. He just used Lightning Breath to deal with it. Furious D taking a lot of damage. Lunar Flare connecting with nothing. Thought the flip might be available, but there is a nice route. Glowering, the heals are real from Malfurion. Trader gets dashed onto to get Glowering out of that situation, and Panucci is very low in the front line, has to back on out.
They took the Knights. I think that they should probably just try to run from this. They might be able to catch Dreadnought out of position, use his Ice Block, but he's still going to end up dying. It's just, so many members of 2Arc are so low. Wow, Trader got hit by that. Sentinel, he might have fallen as well. I understand that they need to make an aggressive play, but they have so much potential to take map control, take these seeds back. They're not going to be able to get a terror moving forward, so they have to consider how they want to defend against this. And like I said, even at this point, yes, they just picked up a couple of kills, helps them to really get back in this game.
Yeah,
but still,
I mean,
if they lose a couple heroes in any of these fights, that Garden Terror can punish so hard.
And they're wary of it. Now, notice KO is playing very defensively. He's got a minute 30, and he doesn't want to push alone because that's how you throw away the advantage of a terror. Tempest Storm will lose their final fort, and it looks like the final fort available will end up falling to this Plant Terror if he decides to just walk in on it. They're pinging that bottom keep. That is what they want to destroy with the last minute on the terror.
We see a lot of hearts being thrown for 2Arc. Vala still staying mid, actually Hearthing back as well, so they are going to rotate down to defend. They don't want to lose another keep at this point. They have a lot of aggression actually in that top lane, which is good to suppress the catapults that are moving forward so they can not have to worry about that for a little bit. But let's see what 2Arc's play is to really get themselves to deal with this Garden Terror and catch back up in this game.
Yeah, they're just throwing the Overgrowth down to deal with that minion push. Remove the lane. The flip goes in. The Lunar Flare is true, but the dash is ready for ETC, so he's going to be all right. There's still additional 30 seconds on this Plant Terror, and they are going to power through this wall. Level 19 will be attained by destroying one tower.
That was actually almost the sickest Shadow Charge overpower because of the positioning. He almost flipped him into the Polymorph, which would have pretty much secured that. That he would have died for sure with the rest of the follow-ups because he wouldn't have had dash or anything to get out of there. So, pretty cool. Almost happened. Would have been sick as Shadow Charge. NA. We see the stage dive. This is going to put Arthur in an awkward position. He's going to have to back up. Nucci trying to afford to see the VP going to throw down.
And there is a big Lightning Breath dishing out a lot of damage, but the health bar, Zagara got blown up so quickly upon getting out of that Plant Terror. The root is huge. Panucci is taking a lot of damage, but this is looking rather good for 2Arc. They picked up that first early kill. The Lunar Flare connecting, Shadow Charge in, but do they have the damage? Trader getting out with just nothing. Soldier gonna end up falling. The flips onto Quibsy. Is it too little too late? They need another kill, but it's, oh my goodness, that Shadow Charge, but it's not enough. And 2Arc has taken another team fight right as the next night phase is coming. And if they do manage to pick off Arthlon here, okay, he is going to get out.
So scary because of that combo that he can throw down. Would possibly eliminate any of these these members, so they would have to move in together as a group. I don't think it's worth the risk at this point. They can just try to deny a ton of seeds from Tempo Storm, and they're starting to make this comeback happen. It's becoming a very real possibility.
Oh, this is not what you want to have happen, though. Or Blink is available.
Oh,
the
shield.
shift. Oh, my goodness. The shield was available, and the Lightning Breath was baited out. So he is going to get out. Panucci might not be as lucky. The Bolt, Shadow Storm, level 20 has been reached. The roots barely don't connect.
The phase shield for Brightwing?
Everybody is bolting. Everybody's using their 20. They're taking advantage of that. Oh my goodness, and the Water Elemental picking up the kill. That's 60 seconds without ETC. Now, there is a Plant Terror available for 2-Arc, but the seeds will be collected for Tempo Storm.
That is a huge amount of time to not have your initiator, your tank present for any of these fights. They were doing such a good job battling back, really holding the momentum forward. They do have their terror up, but it's going to have to mostly be used defensively, unfortunately. It will stall time to get the ETC back up, but not before Tempo Storm is able to take this top set and really get themselves another terror to posture to push forward.
Looks like Arthalon will be the one taking the terror this time. Getting in there as Jaina, realizes that he's incredibly squishy, and he's going to be the one that goes in for it. Now, these Giants will be cleaned up very quickly. 2-Arc finally has a terror to help defend, but that's the thing. They're on their back foot. They're waiting for ETC. It's a very defensive terror, and Tempo Storm is in here. They're using that Hunter Mark to collect this. They're going to get as many as they can, but they have to back up.
Yes, they have to be very careful with this position. Trader actually moving really forward. Glaurung will end up getting polyed. No, not quite.
Dreadnought does get hit by the Queen Curse.
Yep.
And this is a very scary situation for Trader. Taking a lot of damage. Hunter Mark goes down. Not going to be able to fully capitalize on that, but it's nice placing on the Queen's Curse.
Yeah, it's a chokehold that they have to really try to move through, and Trader knows this positioning is quite scary for Tempo Storm. For both teams, actually, the Queen's Curse is becoming quite a nuisance for the mobility for both teams.
Hardened Shield, Rewind, the Twilight Archon Bolt, and we do have Storm Shield picked up, so 20.
Yes.
This is evening out that level advantage.
Yeah, and the quad bolt, we saw that really in execution in that last fight to pick up the kill on ETC. And Glaurung is moving forward.
Put the Bolt of the Storm used on Quibzy, or was it a Bolt? I'm not too sure. We see the stage dive in by ETC in a big VP, picking up both KO and Soldier. Arthalon needs to back up with this terror. A big Queen's Curse to peel will be required, but Soldier will be blown up so very quickly.
That was very quick damage that was being able to throw down. And how is 2-Arc going to capitalize on the rest of this fight? KO getting zoned out. KO having to use the Maw to try to keep himself alive. And Quibzy now taking a ton of damage. The flip, the overcharge, and the lightning zone.
Massive plays by Glaurung on the Diablo. Put the Bolt of the Storm from Chubbs over that wall. He uses everything he has, but they managed to pick up that kill on Jaina. It's 2-for-1 in favor of 2-Arc. I can't believe this game. It is so back and forth.
Jaina thought that was a pretty strong position for her to be in, but all of a sudden the bolts and the shadow charge getting thrown over that wall. Yeah, that was very strong play. But cool. Yeah, so we see have it 2-1 advantage for this fight, and yeah, Glaurung going in, taking the steal away from 2-Arc there. Okay.
Wow, this game is just actually insane, Kubi.
Yep.
Right now, I mean, the levels have been evened up. Actually, the level advantage has been taken by 2-Arc for the first time.
So I don't know. Okay, so this has been enough seeds taken off of this bottom plant terror, so no team can actually get a garden terror out of this. So we just see them rotating around, taking what merc camps are available to them, and we're gonna have to see what kind of posturing both teams. It's so scary at this point because a large team fight, there's more than enough death timer available for 2-Arc to go in, clear up a keep, and just win the game. And of course, there's already that keep down, so even losing 2 heroes would allow Tempo Storm to posture very, very hard to finish the game.
Tempo Storm is well aware that the mercenary aggression is enough to buy them a bit of time, even in a 4v5 situation, to take these cities.
Yep.
So with Hunter's Mark, they're going to be able to blow this up very quickly. The Sentinel will scout out the entire bottom part of the map, revealing that there's no one anywhere nearby, and they're just going to scoop those up. During all this downtime, all the heroics have timed out. Bolts are all back up. Everything is ready for battle. But how? Tempo has lost 2 fights in a row.
It's true. It's got to be weighing a little bit on their decision-making moving forward. Diablo is sitting at about 96 souls, so he's probably going to farm just a little bit more before they try to engage, because having that extra res is so important.
That is actually a great point. So getting...
Especially this late in the game.
Yes. Like you said, just look at those souls. 2 more kills, there is a respawn for him, and that's a nice buffer to have.
ETC pushing in the top lane, really just trying to deal with this mercenary camp push. Does have that stage dive available if he needs to throw in, but we're actually seeing the heavy rotation from Tempo Storm.
Yeah, they are trying to catch him off guard. And note that he's just backing off. He knows he doesn't have eyes on. He wants to put himself in a safe position, and the entire team is just very passive right now. They're just looking around and trying to find them. Oracle being used by Tassadar shows nothing. Where is Tempo Storm? Where are they? They have no idea right now. And the rotation going down to the middle of the map, they're going to find Furious D.
This is bad. Furious D having to use Dimensional Shift to get out. Does still have that prescience, so won't find himself into too much trouble. Probably actually one of the most slippery targets for 2Arc to have gotten grabbed by that Shadow Charge, and will actually force Tempo Storm to back up a little bit. They don't feel so much aggression, or at least having the ability to rotate onto 2Arc to try to get a kill.
After losing 2 fights like that, I mean, that's got
yeah, you got to think a little bit more about how you're approaching these fights when you consider, just their ability to deal with the heroics that are being thrown down, the Maws, etc., everything.
And they are even down in levels at this point in time, 22 to 21 in favor. There is a big stage dive onto Arthalon. That's a very squishy target, and the VP locking out their damage. Both Zagara and Jaina are locked out. Soldier getting blown up so very quickly. He is removed from the fight, so there is no Tyrande available. That Water Elemental going in and dishing out damage they can. Maw only stalled out Panucci for a short while, and this is just looking like a bad situation for Tempo Storm. They are scrambling to get out of this scenario.
Keep in mind that Glaurung does have enough souls so that he can get back up, but still, it seems like each of these fights, Soldier has been the primary target, and when they want to kill him, they're getting it done. And you can't dodge the stage dive forever, right? Like, it's gonna find you.
It is.
They actually did a pretty good job. I like that the preemptive route that they put down actually stalled out his positioning for quite a while. Still, though, they were able to focus their fire onto Soldier, wasn't able to get out of there in time. Didn't grab Sprint, doesn't have Bolt of the Storm at 20 anymore, so honestly, Tyrande is a little bit more of a less mobile target.
Right, it makes her very vulnerable in that regard. I mean, is the...
Panucci getting thrown into the roots.
But the Hardened Shield coming out, it's keeping him alive for so long, and they just have to back on out. This is a 4v5, but Toronto will be up in 5 seconds. Night Phase up in 20. So this is going to be potentially the final Night Phase of the game.
You can see how tentative both teams are to really try to make a big move. And the Traitor! Wow, that was crazy. I didn't know that could even happen. You can throw down the Shadow Charge.
Full Hearth. Still. They just Hearth. They just want to just cap off, be nice and safe. And Glaurung just kind of wiggling around the map. They're going to start collecting these seeds. They're very close to that terror. They can easily pick up the first terror. But yes, Roots going out in response to the potential aggression here. They're backing up. They're playing so passively right now.
Very, very careful. They realize that one slip up at this point means the difference between going to the winners finals or the round 1 losers bracket. Panucci stage diving in, and the VP is going to zone out Glaurung and Arthalon. But is the follow-up going to be there? I'm not so sure.
I don't know.
There's the bolt.
And yes, the Maw connecting with 2 of them. Do they follow up, or do they just take a plant? That is 1 death. We see how low Furious D is. Of course, Tassadar very hard to kill, but Panucci is taking a lot of damage. But Tyrande fell on the backside of things. Dreadnought using the Tranquil to try to heal. And Arthalon is so vulnerable. He doesn't have Bolt. He's going to fall 2 for 1 in favor of 2Arc right now.
I thought for sure when that Maw follow-up was there that was going to be 2 heroes very quickly falling for 2Arc. I am not so sure. I think
Tassadar, he's just too hard to kill.
He really is. It's very, very true. I almost wondering if they should try to put a little bit... Oh, no, with the Garden Terror, it's actually not going to be possible. Okay, so they're actually going to try and take these seeds. We see that the scouting drone is thrown out, and Tempo Storm is running across the map with their Garden Terror, at least trying to force all of the members of 2Arc to back up.
I don't think they're going for core.
Exactly what they're doing.
I think... Oh, are they going for core? The bottom keep? This is very peculiar. This is very risky.
The rest of the team, they're just trying to collect seeds. I think just to try to deny 2Arc. Moving forward, I guess that makes sense, but do you really want to throw away this Garden Terror? They have to execute their plan perfectly.
Yes.
And Glaurung could actually find himself in a bit of a sticky situation. I think he does have souls underneath this, so even if he ends up getting caught out, killed quickly, and also Diablo dying, it's not the end of the world for Tempo Storm.
2Arc is on his tail.
Yeah, they are.
And that's not enough seeds to deny them a Terror. There's still a ton of seeds available on the bottom half of the map, but there has been a respawn, and this Terror has another minute left on its life cycle. So although it has lost a decent amount of health, it's not lights out yet. But
they need
this
those
is so
3
risky.
seeds. They need the 3 seeds. Okay, they have enough to go for the Garden Terror. So honestly, they've thrown away more than half of their HP on the Garden Terror for nothing, just to try to stall out, but they're still going to get a Terror. Panucci actually finding himself on the wrong side of this enemy team. Is he going
Stage dive.
Okay, no, he does. He has Hardened Shield. He pops it, but he might actually have to use it, and they're actually going to isolate him.
Oh
and
my
they're gonna throw
goodness,
him down.
that is big. That's a full
That is
minute,
huge.
more than a minute when he is dead. This Plant Terror has 20 seconds, and Glaurung is getting aggressive.
They're going for it. They're going for the throw.
They're trying to stop it, but no, it's picked up.
Quibsy is able to grab the Garden Terror in time, and actually if they can get Glaurung out of this Garden Terror, that will be the first step that they need to take in order to defend this core for the final game. This is it. This all comes down to this for who's going to move to the winner's bracket of this ESL NA League playoffs.
Oh my goodness, this is actually just way too tense. Now they're going to finish up this top Terror, collect those seeds. The Terror has expired on Glaurung, and it is now Quibsy's turn to turn the aggression onto Tempo Storm.
They've stalled long enough. I mean, there's only 25 seconds left for their tank to get back up, and even whatever position they find themselves in, they can throw down a stage dive to get into that fight immediately. They don't have to wait for ETC to come across the map. Quibsy actually getting flipped into a lawn, not ends up taking too much damage. Trader just poking in. They're actually forcing Tempo Storm all the way back, and at this point, 2R can start to try to even up the keep count here.
They really can, and this Terror, I mean, it's got a long duration left, a full minute. The dash forward, the connection onto Chubbs, and they blow him up so quickly. Stage dive as ETC's back up, but that's with the healer being down. Maw connects, locking Panucci out. Trader could be the next target. Now this Plant Terror going forward, they have to remove it. The Queen's Curse has too much viability, and its health pool is dropping rapidly. Roots nicely flipping it on in. Lunar Flare whiffs completely, but the 100 mark Shadow Charge is giving enough. Bolt of the Storm was used on Diablo right there, though.
Without their support in this fight, it's going to be so difficult for 2R to even try to get any kills. It's just they end up moving too far in to try to isolate someone. And, 2 whiffs from Trader.
That's
with the Singularity Spikes, he's going to have to leave for sure. Oh, no, he's actually caught out of
he's
position.
dead?
There's no way for him to get out. Oh, she uses...
Does she have an aggressive bolt? Where is it? Oh, it goes the wrong way.
Glaurung see it? Yes, he does. Does he get the flip? The Shadow Charge will
It's
flip.
a kill.
Got him. Okay, all right. So this is 2 kills. Another 20 seconds for Brightwing to actually get back in. We see Panucci rotating back, even just to kill these catapults moving forward. But Quibsy still only just a little bit of HP on this Garden Terror, but this is definitely a window of opportunity for Tempo Storm to move in, to get aggressive, to try to take out one of these last 2 remaining keeps for 2R.
Lightning Breath is available. 40 seconds on Zeratul life. Dread taking a lot of damage, Art taking a lot of damage, forcing out Stripe. Where's the Shadow Charge on cooldown?
They're only hitting the tank with that for the most part, and actually that's going to put Quibsy in a bad spot.
No!
Not quite spaced properly.
Yeah.
I was able to get hit in the wall, but he was able to bolt out of there.
But they're buying time. They're buying time for Zeratul.
20 seconds for him to get back up, and I actually don't think the Tempo Storm is going to get too aggressive here unless they pick up another kill. They can't afford to lose this Panucci once again getting blown up, and Axe is able to dash out of time.
Hardened Shield coming into play, mitigating a lot of that damage, but Arthlon has not stopped. Stage Dive is forced out. ETC has gone to the middle lane, but Quibsy is their next target. Once again, the Lunar Flare not necessarily on point. The Lightning Breath with the massive range. Gonna be able to pick up that kill. The Water Elemental just finishing him off. And that's a full minute without Vala now as soon as Zeratul gets back
Big
up.
deal. This is another point of contention for Tempo Storm to start getting aggressive. Structure-wise, Trader having to blink out of there. The roots were not quite timed perfectly. But still, this is another keep they can take down. And at this point, if they're able to take this keep, one more of those kills, that means heavy aggression onto the core. Maybe not being able to kill it right away, but they're going to slowly start chipping away at the core with each one of these kills. And Tempo Storm is just doing such a solid job of picking off targets and isolating and killing them one by one.
Yeah, seeds available on that bottom Terror may be enough. I'm not exactly sure. They are sitting at 48. I think there might be enough left. So if they can fall back, pick up a Plant Terror, it's going to give them a nice advantage. 20 seconds left on Fall's Timer, more than enough of a buffer to pick that up, and their heroics are rapidly coming off cooldown.
We're 30 minutes into this game, Jake. This Plant Terror, if the entirety of Tempo Storm rotates with it, they might be able to just throw themselves onto the core and finish the game. 2R, are they aware of this? Do they know exactly how much damage they can get away with? What is their game plan? How are they going to try and stop this? 98 seeds!
Oh my god!
Okay, Tempo Storm, this is another breath of life into their attempts to win this game, but they really need to take a very convincing team fight, so much so that they need to be able to power through the rest of that mid-keep and to try to go onto the core to kill it. There's no keeps left available for 2R. They're going to have constant catapult aggression.
This is so back and forth. 2R maintaining a small experience lead. Only 2 seeds are needed. Once the next night phase spawns, we could very easily see Tempo Storm just pick up 2 seeds, pick up a Terror, and try to march.
2ARC needs to find a solution to end this game before.
Yes.
I think that they have effectively put a timer on 2ARC's viability for making it through this game. I will say this, if there's a 2-kill advantage for Tempo Storm, they can end the game. 2ARC needs to take a very heavily advantaged team fight. We're talking something like a 4-for-1, a 5-for-1 to be able to end this game. Still, though, the death timers are massive at this point, and mistakes, they cannot be tolerated moving forward.
Diablo's at 150 souls, so they have that buffer too. It's something you just can't forget. Kills 22-11, slight advantage still. 25 about to be hit. How many games do we even see 25? And this is a risky scenario. They even say, look, it's not worth the risk to push in like that. We've got this mercenary pressure. Once we see them rotate down to defend this bottom lane that has catapults and bruisers, maybe then we can make the call to move in. But they're just, they're right. Okay, as soon as they see the whole team in, yes, this is their time to pick up those knights.
The scouting drone does spot the location of Tempo Storm. 2ARC is probably very well aware of the fact that they are going to try to rotate up to take these bruisers.
I like that they're just being very safe.
Yeah, they are.
There's a stage dive being whiffed.
Wow! Mind gamed, can you say that? Wow.
Yeah,
like,
that's huge.
They thought for sure that was their moment to go in to strike. Tempo Storm absolutely baited that out. And that's big. That's an entire 90 seconds that you don't have that stage dive available to initiate. Not to say that that means that they're going to get super aggressive with it, but that's, it's
look at the
sigh of relief.
Zagara is warding up the map as they rotate around. They have vision all over the place. So any kind of cheeky run through to try to backdoor, there's going to be thwarted so quickly by the vision provided by Zagara. And you can see they're actually just rotating around trying to clean this up because they know that's more than a potential.
Look at how passive Tempo Storm is playing right now. They know they can just wait for the nighttime.
That's what
Tempo Storm, 2ARC has to go to them to try to make a crazy play.
But they can't because their lanes are pushed out. These catapults constantly in their face, and there's just nothing they can do about it.
They have 2ARC's back up against the wall. They realize that they are forcing their hand with this passive style play, and here they're moving in. ETC, 30 seconds, 35 seconds until he has that stage dive.
Zeratul gonna scout, probably just throw down a few singularity spikes. Nightfall in 25 seconds. That is 2ARC signal. Time is up. We have to do something. Brightwing clearing up the base as long as you can before phase shifting into battle. ETC doesn't have the flexibility to do that. Stage dive still in cooldown for 15 seconds.
Tempo Storm realizes that they need to protect Soldier. He's been the target for most of these fights, and 2ARC really needs to try to find a way to force the positioning to get Soldier out. All of the fights that they have won have been really focused around killing Soldier as fast as possible and really making it work. And the flip, okay, the combo is not quite on point. Panucci starting, going in.
Where is the Maw? That's going to be a pivotal part of this fight. Tranquility used incredibly early in a big Void Prison, but there's not going to be a follow-up.
Positioning
it's
is
in
just
a
not
safe
there.
posture. So that VP wasted, stalled out the timing on it, and they still have the availability to Maw. The flip, once again, does not connect. The combo not going to work out. Strafe dishing out a lot of damage, but Trader going for KO, does a lot, forces out a bolt, and there is the Maw finally going out, hitting 2 members.
Once again, this lockup is going to be enough. Furious D actually finding himself quite low. He is Tassadar. I think he does still have his prescience up. No, actually, it is on cooldown right now, so he just needs to be careful. And that is the fort. Actually, no, the keep is going down. They find themselves on slightly even footing.
Oh my goodness.
Quipsy able to bolt out in time. Panucci putting a lot of aggression onto Arthlon. Killing this Jaina could be a huge deal moving forward in this game. This could be 2ARC's attempt to get back in the game, but they find themselves losing 2 members. Almost to that lightning breath. Panucci having to use his stage dive, and I think that is going to be it. That is going to be the end of the game. Tempo Storm will take a 3-2 victory over 2ARC.
Oh my goodness, what a series.
Wow.
The Sentinel
Whoa!
Oh no! I was going to say, what a picture-perfect finish. You can already see these catapults are here. The good games, well played, coming out, and they don't even need the plant terror. Furious D and KO just having a good time.
That is an entire 30 seconds while the entire team is down. That is more than enough for Tempo Storm to finish this, and what an incredible last game to this series.
I can't sleep tonight. This was just
my heart rate has been well above 100 for this entire last 10 minutes of this game. Oh my goodness.
So incredibly well played here by both teams. 36-minute games to close out one of the best of 5 series I have ever experienced in my life in any esport, let alone Heroes of the Storm.
That's a statement, but you know what? I got to back you up on that. It was really, really good. so many awesome fights. Like, you can go back and just dissect those fights for days. Like, it's just the plays, the positioning from all these members of the teams. Like, they realized what the priority targets were, how they were going to keep them alive, using the positioning of those forts. Like, we saw the VP go down, but the 2 people that were left outside of the VP, there was just no way to get the rest of the team in there to capitalize on that. And the mod, like, same thing happened. They realized that they were able to back up, throw Panucci a little bit more forward with the loudspeaker knockback just to keep everyone alive. Oh my God. Awesome.
You see, I got my crazy hair. That's when the casting gets ridiculous, and I'm like, oh, I just put my hands in my hair. My hair gets actually crazy. Look at these ridiculous stats at the end of that Game 5. Phenomenal games here from both 2ARC and Tempo Storm, and I can't say it enough as to how good of a series that match actually was.
Something I really want to point out with this screen that you have up, where the damage is, we're talking a 36-minute Garden of Terror game. I want you guys to think back to all of the latter games that you guys have played where a game goes 36 minutes. It's very common to see something like, 150k damage on your top damage dealer?
Yeah.
Right? Look at the damage. No one even broke 100k. That just goes to show you how much posturing and positioning was going into all of those team fights, how calculated all of the moves were toward. We're talking from like 20 minutes to 36 minutes, how calculated every single team fight was moving forward from that point. And that right there is a testament to all of that. Awesome play. Can't say it
It's
enough.
about as good as it gets because each team, I mean, it was just nothing but respect. You know, if you don't know you're perfectly safe, you are not going to take that initiation, and it doesn't get much better than that, Coops. I'm absolutely floored by that series, but now we do have a bit of an update on the bracket. See if I can pull that up here. Now, looking at our newly updated bracket, let's
refresh.
Technology. Oh, bear with me. Technology being technology. And there we go.
Look at that.
So Complexity versus 2ARC, that is going to be the losers match tomorrow. Both of those teams are more than capable of taking this event.
Although I will say, Complexity just played 2ARC in the last week. I think that was week number 7, and Complexity looked pretty strong in that series. We'll see if that still pans forward. But still, 2ARC being able to bring Tempo Storm to Game 5 and, like, honestly, last fight, they could take anyone out in this series. So, honestly, both of those teams that are in the losers bracket are more than capable of running all the way back through and winning this event.
Yes, but the winners finals, that's going to be Cloud9 Maelstrom and Tempo Storm, and whoever falls there will face the winner of Complexity 2ARC in the decider match to figure out what our grand finals will actually be. Game 1 was ridiculous, and that was only 2 best-of-5 series. That was day 1. Day 2, that's 4 best-of-5 series, ladies and gentlemen.
So exciting. Just nothing but looking forward to that. Jake, we got to sleep. We got to get up soon.
We do.
We got to get up soon and cast games.
So on that note, guys,
yes,
2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific.
Yep.
That is the start time for all the action.
Man, I'm pumped. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep for another couple hours. Too much. Way too much. All right, Jake.
Yeah. On that note, guys, we are going to sign out. We will see you tomorrow to see who will be our champion here in the ESL playoffs for the major leagues.
All right, so I think with that, we'll go take our rest. You guys should too, and we'll see you guys in about 12 hours.
Till then, have a good night.
See you guys later.